A Zoom link dropped into my hands. Victims searching for tomorrow, promises they couldn't understand.
Hello everyone, I'm Danny the Heck. Today we're taking another look at PLAYGLOBAL and asking a simple question. Where is the evidence? This investigation began after accepting an invitation to an MHT recovery Zoom meeting. Since then, I've reviewed company records, examined the PLAYGLOBAL website, analysed public presentations, and corresponded directly with representatives from PLAYGLOBAL, including a lawyer in India whose identity has now been verified through LinkedIn. But here's the important part. Verifying someone's identity is not the same as verifying the claims being made. Throughout this investigation, I've asked for case numbers, court filings, FIR references, regulatory licenses, independent audits, and other documents that would help me verify the statements made during the Zoom meeting. So far, none of these documents have been provided. Instead, I've received multiple privacy complaints. One of my YouTube videos have already been removed, and most recently, I received a 4-page letter demanding that I remove my reporting and warning that legal action may follow. Now, just so you know, I actually currently are broadcasting on 6 different platforms: LinkedIn, X, Rumble, Kick. I've even forgotten them all. So let's have a look and see, make sure I've got them all there. And Twitch. I don't know if I said Twitch. So, and also I've published a blog and it's been published on 6 different places. Now, if I get carried away, I'll probably also use this as a podcast, and that podcast will be broadcasted on 18 different platforms around the globe. So that means that when people are searching for PLAYGLOBAL, they will actually see this investigation and realize that we've asked the questions but not received the answers. I'll be honest, the sort of correspondence that I get from these individuals can be intimidating, but being asked difficult questions isn't the same as being threatened unfairly. Now, being asked difficult questions isn't the same as being threatened unfairly. If the claims being made are genuine, then providing supporting evidence should strengthen those claims, not weaken them. Also, important to remember that my investigation into MHT Trading Bot didn't begin after the collapse. I investigated MHT while it was still operating because it had serious concerns about the business model, its claims, and lack of evidence that any genuine AI trading activity was actually taking place. This investigation is simply the next chapter of that story. I've even produced a song, PLAYGLOBAL, Show Me the Evidence, because that's the reality of this investigation, what this investigation is all about. I'm not here to tell you what I think. I'm here to present the publicly available information, explain what has been claimed, distinguish it from what has been independently verified, and let you draw your own conclusions. If anyone from PLAYGLOBAL believes I'm got something wrong or wishes to provide the documents I've requested, my door remains open. I'll review any evidence fairly and update my reporting if warranted. Now let's see where the evidence leads. So hopefully I didn't check this beforehand, and no, I always get this wrong. I don't get it wrong. My software never gets it right. So let's just go to this article here. And I think that's the one we want. That's the page. Yes, that's the right screen. Excellent. So this is the wrong picture on that blog. So I'm going to fix that up before we start. I didn't realize I had the wrong picture on that blog, but we will go through here and just remove that one, because that should not be in that one. In fact, let's see if we can update it with the latest one. Might be better. I think we already have, so we just need to remove the third picture. I don't know where that picture, that was another investigation we've done. It seems to have jumped in there. So let's refresh that page. So as you can see, I've done an image here, PLAYGLOBAL Digital. Who are they really? And here's our lawyer, legal action threat. And here's the people that were in the Zoom meeting where I asked the basic questions. It was a bit of a hoot. And if you want to go listen to that, it was raw. And if you go 58 minutes and 15 seconds in, you actually see that I'm going to tell them, I'm telling them that I actually have been recording this information, and that's right. So this video here has already been removed, and it's already on the internet, and now I'm broadcasting it. So it was a funny little wee video.
Also PLAYGLOBAL, not
But this guy
MHT.
here couldn't actually speak very good
That's
English.
right.
So he rushed away, and I didn't even know where I were. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, I'll just pause this. So this individual here couldn't speak very good English. He went away to get Marco. Marco could speak better English. And I was actually in the Zoom meeting hoping to get support on MHT, because they were basically helping people that had lost their money and give them updates on actually what's happening with the theoretical person in India. And then as time went on, they went away and they realized what I do for a living. And then they brought this guy, Daniel, in. Now, Daniel's meant to be the big cheese of PLAYGLOBAL. And at the point there when he disappeared, I was actually asking him why his website, he's got 16 years of experience. And the funny part that was really kind of funny, well, it wasn't really funny, but when I realized that their website was simply hosted as just a WordPress website, he took exception to that and he left. And I was just seeing where that worked. And I did actually have a bit of a funny part. Let's just go back to about here and listen to this. I'll see if we can actually make this a little bit bigger. But listen to the part of the live recording, and this is why I don't believe this company's who they claim.
The public investment from Saudi Arabia. This is our technology partner, and they invested a lot of money in our technology. This is what I can tell you. But they will even not share
you can't actually tell me anything about your company.
So he just said that their partners have invested a lot in their technology. So I'm trying to figure out what type of technology you're actually talking about. And he's talking about making hydro cars, which I don't think there's any money in hydro cars anymore. But they've got so much technology, but they couldn't name any brands. They couldn't name any technology that was in the real. I was basically asking them where they generate their money from. Like I invest large-scale scams and Ponzi schemes, right? You know what a Ponzi scheme is? You get investors' money in and then you distribute it to keep the investors happy. Now, I'm not saying that's happening in this case, but when these claims come out, and these individuals claim that they have technology, I'm asking the obvious question. Well, what technology do you guys actually own? And have you got any proof of any technology? Then they say they hide behind NDAs and all this sort of carry on. We've heard it all before. So like all good investigations, we just simply asked for evidence. And we have to date received no evidence. But when they talk about the amazing technology that they've got that people want to invest $1 billion in, yes, I said $100 billion. That's what they've got, the super fund, which we'll explain in the blog. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. But when I challenged this guy about how their website is built on WordPress, which I thought was batshit crazy, he basically left the show. And Daniel will be listening to this right now, and he's welcome to come on stage and talk to us. There's a link in here, which I think I did actually, I'm pretty sure I pinned it. I'll just make sure I did pin it. Is it pinned? Yes, it is pinned. So you can actually come on the live show right now and answer our questions if you want. But this is what happened last time we asked him questions. Here we go. Let's have a look. Okay. So there's the question there. Your website describes PLAYGLOBAL as a global organization working with sovereign wealth funds, institutional investors, and a planned US $100 billion super asset fund. Can you explain why the public-facing infrastructure appears to consist of two WordPress websites hosted on the same IONOS server in Germany? So why is your website hosted on WordPress? So just to put a bit of background on that. They're claiming that their website, they've got multiple domain names, and they're claiming that their technology needs to have their domain names on different servers. Well, that's what they insinuated to me, which that's what I got from it. That's just my opinion. So here, I've looked at both domain names and realized they're hosted on the same server. So it doesn't make sense. And then I realized they're hosted on WordPress, which my very website's hosted on WordPress. It's not a bad platform, but a company that's claiming to have an amazing outworld, technology of, doesn't do that. Well, I don't think they do. Does Apple host their website on WordPress? Does Microsoft?
This is something very easy to describe, because we as I said, in the last years we was completely in background. Now we are going public with
And
all
you're
these
using
things. And this was
WordPress. With all the technology that you're developing, you're using WordPress.
It's not necessary for us now to use. We have our own development team, and we'll do it different. But I don't know what has to do this with real business.
Well, you've been going for
Sorry,
16 years, mate.
Christian, sorry, I don't need to waste my time.
Oh,
with
my
this type of
goodness. Now
people.
you're backing up the bus, aren't you? I'm recording this, guys. I'll use this in my deep dive. You guys are nuts. Oh, my God. So why would he leave like that if he has somebody representing your company? Come on. I've just blown you into the weeds, man. Your website's built on WordPress. This is ridiculous. You're on
But
mute,
only
mate.
because of the website.
Oh my God.
No.
You couldn't answer any of my questions.
So that video will be there for anyone to see. If anyone ever wants that video, as I said, sometimes you'll come to my blogs and you'll find that my videos are hosted on Rumble. YouTube AI often will just take these videos off if somebody complains, but there's no reason for them to take that one off, because in there I showed. So the video that we're recording right now will be here. This is the live version that you're looking at. As you can see, we've done a song. It's got some lyrics, and so let's get into the blog. So I've got a good couple of hours, hopefully, before we can finish this. So this will be a long blog. I will timestamp it if necessary, but I think it's important to realize what type of investigations that myself and my team of Avengers actually do. I think that we're the best investigators on the planet. I honestly believe that we do the best investigations, and we hold these crypto companies or these companies that are producing tokens accountable for their claims. And that's all we're doing. Now, any company that I know of that's new, got something exciting, some amazing technology available, you think that they would jump at the opportunity to answer the questions and show their skills off, show their what they've done, showed where they've got, where their technologies have got. But every single time I investigate a company, I struggle to get answers. Sometimes I've been given CERDIC reports, and you'll go and they go, oh, look, we've got a CERDIC report. And then you realize that the CERDIC report was done on day 3 of the company, and it was only on deposits, not the whole company structure. So we read those documents, we find out, what's behind these claims. And I honestly think I'm so sick and tired of people losing their money, investing in these companies, and then realizing that they didn't ask the hard questions. Now, any of the questions I've asked here are just any investor should be asking these questions. And hopefully you could copy the text of my blog into AI if you are going to invest in this company, and ask Daniel, the CEO of the company, the hard questions that you want answered. And if he doesn't give you the answer, well, you're an idiot if you invest, in my opinion. So extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Now, I thought that was Rob Willie's statement and claim, but it's actually Carl Sagan. So that is such, I say that nearly every broadcast, extraordinary claims. This company's claiming that it's got a super fund of $100 billion, with a B, $billion. Not that they've got the money. So I asked a basic question in that interview: how much have they got of that money so far? Because they're claiming that they got the super fund coming their way. And I asked, how much have they got of that $100 billion fund so far? They wouldn't answer that question either. When I received an email from this is an email, MHT Trading Bot investor in Germany, I thought was simply following up on another collapsed investment scheme. I didn't say that right. When I received an email from a MHT Trading Bot investor in Germany, I thought I was simply following up on another collapsed investment scheme. The investor had lost 3,000 euros and wanted me to look at a Telegram message inviting victims to a Zoom meeting where they promised full transparency. How about that? Legal updates from India and a roadmap to recover the money. So, like all these schemes that claim that they can help you recover your money, to me, a lot of the time I look at these stuff and it's just another exit strategy. So anyway, their claim is they're going to be full transparency and they're going to give you legal updates when there's no case files and get into it. And they were going to, and I went into that meeting. So when I went into that meeting, I expected to see MHT Trading Bot branding in the background, but I didn't. I saw Play Global. I accepted the invitation, expecting to hear about MHT Trading Bot. Instead, I found myself inside a Play Global digital presentation. Now, ironically, I don't know if I can actually do this in a hurry, but I did actually, what's changed since we've done it? If we go into that meeting, Signal, I don't even know if I've got that anymore, but when you go into that meeting now, they've rebranded it. So I don't even know if this is the right one. I think they want you to, I'm pretty sure they want you to sign into that meeting now, which is absolutely crazy. I'm just having a wee look here because I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind just seeing if I can actually, Isaac, Craig, I'm just see if I've got the meeting accessible, awareness. No. So I don't have it handy because it's renamed it since I have done it. And I'm pretty sure that was the link there. So, yeah, so no, we haven't got that available because what they've done, and you'll just have to trust me on this one, but they've actually rebranded the Zoom link. And now when you go into the Zoom link, it comes up with MHT Trading Bot instead of what it was, Play Global Digital. So instead, I found myself in a Play Global Digital presentation. What followed was not what I expected. As I began asking straightforward questions about the relationship between Play Global and the MHT recovery effort, the conversation quickly shifted. Rather than receiving documentary evidence as they claimed in their welcome email, I found myself on the receiving end of privacy complaints, legal threats, invitations to speak with lawyers in India, and repeated assurances that surrounding documents would be provided. So they said they were happy to provide me the documents. However, the caveat was that they couldn't provide them to me because it would disrupt the investigation. So one hand they were going to do it, the other hand said they couldn't. So basically, after the person's locked up behind bars, they were going to give me the evidence of the recovery effort. Yes, we've heard that all before. Oh, thank you, Super Chat Magic. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'll put that on the screen. That keeps the wolves away from the doors. Okay, so after the following weeks, I examined Play Global's website, and that's not quite right. It's only been about a week since this whole thing happened, but it's been evolving, it seems like weeks. Reviewed corporate records, analysed public statements, verified the identity of the Indian lawyer involved, inspected domain name registrations, scrutinised potential promotional material, and requested documentary evidence supporting the claims that have been made. To be clear, Play Global has repeatedly stated that it's not the company behind MHT Trading Bot. The article does not, what's that word? Allege otherwise. Instead, it documents the publicly visible overlap between individuals involved in MHT recovery effort and Play Global, examines the claims being made to investors, and addresses what evidence has or has not been produced to support those claims. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. As always, my role is not to tell you what to believe. My role is to present the facts, highlight the unanswered questions, and allow readers to draw their own conclusion based on available evidence. So I think I'll explain that pretty cool in the introduction. We'll now get going. But there is a connection here between the both, even though they don't want to say there is a connection. In the video, if you watch the video, they'll clearly state that Play Global has come to the rescue, helping with the recovery effort for MHT. So there is a connection. It's not like they're two strange companies. But, from my perspective, when I see a company, to me, when at first glance, this is just my opinion, but when I went into that Zoom meeting, it was branded out as Play Global. I was there expecting to get updates about MHT Trading Bot. And we all know how my Avengers feel about trading bots. And then when I'm there, it's branded out as Play Global. And then when I'm talking to them, they tell us that they're not associated with MHT. So it's batshit crazy straight away. They're sending, it's like going to, I don't know how to explain that. It's like going to the Bank of America, and when you walk into the Bank of America, they have Chase advertising all over it. Doesn't make sense. How I ended up inside the Play Global Zoom meeting. The investigation did not begin because I was looking into Play Global. It began because I went to an MHT Trading Bot investor. It began when an MHT Trading Bot investor from Germany contacted me reading my previous investigation into the scheme. After reading my previous investigation into the scheme, the investor explained that after investing $3,000, the payouts gradually become smaller, less frequently, and eventually stopped altogether. Now, that's what happens in all Ponzi schemes. So there was a pattern there for me to do an investigation. So we did an investigation. Like many investors before, they were told there were technical issues, missing business partners, and legal proceedings underway in India. So that's what all investors have been told. Several weeks later, the investors forwarded me a message that had been circulating inside MHT Telegram community. It invited members to attend a Zoom meeting. Oh, is that the Zoom meeting? Oh, no. Yes, it does. That's my meeting. So this was the Zoom link that we received.
Not to use. We have our own
And
development team and
as
we'll
you
do
can
it
see,
different.
I finished up going into the support area. The guy couldn't speak very good English. And then he invited Marco, who claimed that
So who manages it?
for Play Global been working for Play Global for a year and a half. And I thought that was interesting because I said, so how long did you work for MHT for? Because it seems like a bit of an overlap because my initial investment was within the last year and a half. So that was a bit strange. Then he sort of freaked out a little bit, couldn't really talk to me. So then he went and got another guy involved, which was who's also been corresponding with me, who unfortunately claims to have cancer, and said that he is going to actually get to the bottom of MHT recovery before he gets cancer treatment. This is what he said in the video. Then he invited along the big cheese from Play Global, which we've seen before and researched about him in the past and previous stuff, which I can't quite remember the top of my head. So the whole lot was really, really strange. And it was all good while I was in there. But what you can see on the right when I just went back there is you can actually see all the questions that I actually asked. So I didn't expect to be asking questions about Play Global in this meeting. But when I saw the branding, as you can see, I started asking questions about this company. And then they started showing me the website. And that was where it even got crazier because the website looked like the information on the website just didn't look normal. Not for a company that claiming that they were on the, heading towards trying to raise $100 billion for people. So it just gets crazier. So go watch that Zoom meeting. So it invited members to attend the Zoom meeting where they were promised clarity. Well, I didn't get any clarity myself about what had happened, together with updates on the legal action allegedly being pursued in India. The invitation promised, and this is their own email, official updates on the on who's leading the recovery efforts, an explanation of alleged fraud in India, legal documents and progress reports. None of that was in that meeting. A clearer picture of how victims might recover their losses. So as you know, every Ponzi scheme that we've seen that collapses always has an exit strategy. Every one of those things there just looks like another exit strategy excuse, in my opinion. So that's why we dug in deep and we asked more questions. Having investigated numerous investments schemes over the years, I considered this an opportunity to hear directly from people claiming to be coordinating the recovery effort. And that's exactly who I met in that room. They've sent me a picture of them all standing here in India. I've been to India a couple of times myself. I know what it looks like. They're genuine by the look of it. Don't think it was produced by AI. I'm not saying they haven't been to India, but it still didn't give me any evidence. It was just some guys went off to India. Who knows? They might have gone to India for another reason. They might have gone there to meet a development team. Who knows? There was no proof. There was no individual being handcuffed. There was nothing. It was just a photo of a few people, which I don't even know if I've got here at the moment. But anyway, it's not important. So I joined the meeting as many members of the public could. I was just another member of the public. And being a reporter, who wouldn't want to go to a Zoom meeting and listen to what's going on? What I found was unexpected. Rather than attending a presentation solely about MHT Trading Bot, I found myself listening to representatives from PLAYGLOBAL Digital. As the discussion progressed, I began asking straightforward questions about relationships between PLAYGLOBAL and MHT recovery effort and the legal claims being presented. These questions become the catalyst for everything that followed. Instead of simply receiving documentary evidence as promised, I found myself dealing with privacy complaint, legal threats, correspondence from an Indian lawyer, and a growing number of claims that required independent verification. The Zoom meeting that changed the investigation. The Telegram invitation promoted the meeting as an important update. We're not doubled up there, have we? No, that's just a similar heading with the big investigation, this one. The Telegram invitation promoted the meeting as an important update of MHT. Let's just call it Trading Bot, investors. Attendees were told they would finally receive clarity about what's happening in India, the progress of the legal action, the next step in the recovery process. So why put it out there if you weren't going to provide that information is my question. Expecting an update focused on MHT, I joined the Zoom meeting. Instead, I found myself inside a global digital support session. Now, I'm not sure, but I think this is a double up on the paragraph of bought. But anyway, I'm going to read it anyway. As the presentation unfolded, it became apparent that PLAYGLOBAL representatives were closely involved in discussing the MHT recovery effort. During the meeting, I asked several straightforward questions about PLAYGLOBAL, the relationship between the organisations, and the evidence supporting the legal claims being presented. The answers were limited. Rather than producing documents or providing specific references that could be independently verified, I got told that future information would become available later. The discussion eventually moved on without addressing many of the questions that I believe any investor would reasonably ask. That meeting marked the beginning of a much larger investigation, and this is how we've got to where we are today. What followed was an unexpected series of events: privacy complaints submitted to Google, legal threats demanding the removal of my reporting, direct correspondence with PLAYGLOBAL representatives. And these representatives used to, as far as I can tell, used to work for MHT Trading Bot. Communication with an Indian lawyer said to be acting for MHT victims. Now, I still haven't actually got those exact words out of that lawyer's mouth yet. Repeated assurances that legal documents and evidence would be provided. At that point, the investigation was no longer about MHT Trading Bot. It had become an investigation into the public claims being made by PLAYGLOBAL representatives, the evidence supporting those claims, that would whether investors were being provided with information that would be independently verified. Now, I think I have actually doubled up in those paragraphs because they're very similar. And the reason why, I don't know. But anyway, we may have covered some of the same stuff. Sorry for putting you through that pain. But that's all part of it. I use AI to do a lot of the research I do, and I like my blogs written in a certain style. So sometimes when it pokes out a paragraph or a sentence or a section, I tell it to redo it because I don't like it, and it spits out another version of it. I'm dyslexic, as you know, so I find it hard reading, but I am improving. So that's why I read my blogs. I can use AI to read, well, not AI, but I can use clever technology to have things read.
One of the first things I wanted to establish was whether PLAYGLOBAL and MHT Trading Bot were the same organisation.
Yeah, so that was like any investigator. When you land in a Zoom meeting, you sit there and you think, what have I actually landed in here? And obviously, when it was just me and one other guy, and also my studio was all in my lounge room because I was getting carpet down. So I was actually sitting on there with the laptop on my knee watching TV, just seeing what, filtering out some of the latest emails I've got about some Zoom meetings we're having. So when I landed here, it was kind of like, oh, g'day, how you doing? Normally when I tune up in a Zoom meeting, I have my green screen visible in the background, which I'll show you. And that doesn't really look really good. People don't like talking to people with green screens behind them like that. But the funny thing is, these days I actually have got another camera, so I actually can actually do this because I've changed my room around a little. I think that will work. So I can actually tilt my laptop over here a little bit and get rid of the green screen. And if I'm clever enough, I can actually put that right down there like that. And technically, I could be speaking to people like this, and they wouldn't know that I'm a green screen freak. But anyway, let's do this. 1 minute, let's call it. We'll get ourselves set back up again in a second. Right, microphone back, and I'll switch back camera. So anyway, that was quite good being on the laptop, and I think that was why they were more readily available to speak to me, because they didn't know who I were until I mentioned my name, and then they knew who I was. Based on the information available to me, I could not conclude what they were. So I didn't know whether they were two separate entities or they were one, and that's why I had to ask the questions. And it seems like I've upset a lot of people at the moment by simply asking questions. And this is where I actually just can't figure out why they would do that. Like, what is the problem with asking questions? We're so used to going into Zoom meetings, we ask questions, we get kicked out. All of a sudden, I want to ask questions, and if you ask the wrong questions, you're meant to just be gaslighted into thinking a certain way. In fact, through my correspondence, Play Global's representatives consistently maintain that Play Global has no corporate connection with MHT Trading Bot. Well, that's great. So there's no corporate connection between the two entities. However, in that discussion, Play Global seemed to have come to the rescue in helping MHT Trading Bot get their money back from the Indian scammer. I believe it's important to include that position fairly and accurately. At the same time, there were several observations that I could not be simply ignored. So they were claiming that there was no corporate relationship. I found a physical overlap between MHT recovery effort and Play Global. Is that true?
True.
Individuals representing both discussions. So their people in their support room could talk about both topics. Play Global's representatives participating in recovery presentations. So Play Global was helping MHT recovery, which is unreal. An Indian lawyer who confirmed he became involved after being introduced by Play Global personnel. So that's interesting. So Play Global, as I said, and I'm repeating myself a few times here, but I'll make it very clear what I was told. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. Because at the moment, I don't think I'm wrong in any of the reporting I've got. But there's always a slight chance. I may not have understood. I've rewatched the videos a couple of times. I listened to what they said. I'm going on what they said. And this is how we've got here today. Public statements describing Play Global's role in assigning, is that right?
Assisting.
Assisting, that's better. Assisting NHT victims. So Play Global, anyone, now if you are, if you were an investor of MHT and you are now getting emails from Play Global, I would like to hear from you because this investigation is still going. Because what I'm trying to say, what it looks like to me at first glance is that Play Global may be a rebrand of MHT. Now, I'm not saying that is the case, but at first glance, when you go into a MHT Zoom meeting, expecting to get updates about losses that you've lost as an investor, and it's pimped out with Play Global's branding, it's very confusing and it doesn't make sense. So I want to know what they're actually telling you guys if you are an investor. None of these observations on their own prove that Play Global operated MHT Trading Bot. And I think that's the thing they want to do. They want to distance themselves. So let me get this right. They want to be associated with a company that's collapsed and had all their money stolen by an Indian, theoretically. But they don't want to be associated to people who have lost money because they're two different entities. But they want to take their support staff and their staff that worked at MHT and basically repurpose them. To me, it looks like it's just not right. So that's why I had to ask the questions, which you'll see I have done. However, they do explain why. However, they do explain why I continue to ask questions. So that's what I'm saying. So now what I've done, I've explained to you why I'm continuing to ask questions. As an investigative journalist, I am not interested in guilt by association. People are entitled to assist fraud victims, and there is nothing apparently improper about introducing lawyers or supporting legal action. So any company can come along. I could help support victims. I could encourage you to use a certain lawyer. There's nothing wrong with that. The more important question is whether the public claims being made about those recovery efforts can be independently verified. So far, I've got a lawyer and I've got nothing else. That distinction is critical. Throughout this article, I have deliberately separated documented facts, public statements, and unverified claims. Where evidence exists, I will present it. Where claims have been made but supporting documents have not yet been produced, I will say so. The approach is fundamental to that approach is fundamentally. Oh, look, I'm no good. I'm going to get that paragraph read. Sorry about
That
this.
approach is fundamental to responsible investigative journalism and allows readers to reach their own conclusions based on the available evidence rather than speculation.
Yeah, so imagine if I was doing a big investigation. I'm in my war room, which I'm in at the moment, and you've got a big whiteboard behind me, and I basically pin people's pictures to that whiteboard because I'm doing an investigation. Now, as you've seen many of times, we've got our persons of interest. So let me bring that up. I'll just see if I make sure I get the right thing popping up here. Right, that will do. Okay, so we have our whiteboard. This is our big whiteboard. So yesterday I started up an investigation on a company called Back Token. So I go to their website, I have a look at it, and I think, oh, here we go again. And I just go through here. So what I do is I realize that this same company has got many versions of their website. And then I find another company which looks similar but not the same. It doesn't mean that this company is the same company. And then I just keep finding similar like-minded companies. So that's what we do. We go through there, we get all the evidence, and we pin it on our board, just like any investigator would. So when you go to our Ponzi schemes and scams folder, or whiteboard, if you want to put it, you can see we come down here, and over the years, we've been researching numerous companies. They all have the same playbook, which is really hard case. So let's say we're now looking into global play. And so far, what have I got with global play? I've got a couple of logos. I've got four different domain names. Now, one that's really weird is this one. Global play. Now, I don't even think this is associated. So that is a good example of a company that's called Play Global. Now, for those knowing that I just took down a $400 million Ponzi scheme called Goliath Ventures. Now, Goliath Ventures were in association with two companies. One of them was called My Black Block, and the other one was called My Wealth MD, Wealth Management. Now, My Black Block was not My Black Rock. Now, My Black Rock is a big financial company of some sort, even though I don't know who they are. But I know that that company was passing off the name Black Rock. Now, I had investors that had lost $200,000 on the phone to me, and they said to me, they're part of Black Rock. And I said, no, they're not. They're part of Black Block. And they went, oh. And I said, they've even got a domain name called My Black Block. Confusing. These companies often, with my research, pass off other companies' names. So when you see something like this, I'm not saying that PlayGlobal.world is associated, but this is a company of interest to me because I don't know if they are associated. I don't know how big this company is. So I'll add them to the list. But one thing I did find it really interesting through my research is this company. And this is where these companies, they piss me off. So here's the same logo on a company, and it's called Global production stories written with passion. Now, I'm not sure, and I'll make an assumption here, that these images that you see here, what they're portraying is that we have a production company. They're claiming, in my opinion, that this production company has all these images and they've done all these. To me, this looks like a TV company that's put together series. So if I was to look at this image here, and I was thinking that this company's claiming they're a production company, this company seems to be claiming that they've put together some sort of TV show, you would think that I would be able to get that image there and put it into Google Lens. Oh, done that wrong. Sorry, right click, Danny. Google Lens. And you would find this picture on the internet hundreds of times, but we don't. We find that this picture here is only on one place on the internet. All those other pictures that you see there are not the same. They're all people in the same uniforms, but they're not from the same documentary that this production company is using. So what am I getting at? So they will claim that they have amazing technology. They may even set up websites to say that they have a production company. But when you go to these one-page websites and you're trying to find whether this company actually is active and actually doing something in the community, I get crickets. I don't find any proof that there is actually a Play Global production company in existence. But this website may be used to actually give them some sort of credibility. So if we go to the other website, which is here, this is the website that claims to be doing most, even though they claim they have 3 different, and this is a very fast loading website, as you can see. Just to give you an idea on how slow that website is. Somebody I know, I do wonder, so I've got fitness. This is how fast a proper website from a technology company should load. Now, you ready? I'm going to click enter, and this is how fast a technology company's website should load. You ready? Bang. Did you see how quick that loaded? And this is an extensive website. Also, it's pretty full on. There's amazing everything. So that's the speed of a real website. And when you click on these here, you notice how quick. Right. So that's what I'd call, even though this one's selling watches, this is what I call a technology company. When you see a website like this and they're using WordPress, I use WordPress myself, but when you click on a button, you'd expect to see that load within seconds. You see how slow it is? And it raises too many red flags. So I went through and I copied every page of this website and I put it into this investigation. So I'm sort of insinuating here, and you can do your own research, that this Play Global Productions has never ever produced anything. From my opinion, I can look at this and go, this is not real. This is not a real production company. However, I am open to be proven otherwise. If I can find a TV show or a series being done by this particular company, please give me the links, because this is the sort of questions I want answered. Does this company exist? Is this company part of Play Global? Is this part of your technology portfolio? And if I went to this website and went /WP-admin, is this website also built on WordPress? And it isn't. It's built on a different platform. And I can see here, I think it's German. So I don't know. It could be a Squarespace website that they're using. So the uneducated eye could potentially look at this website here and think it is, wow, they've even got a production company. So what do? We go to URL scan and we put these domain names into URL scan, and URL scan will tell us whether they're hosted on the same server as their other websites. So normally, like I host 15 websites myself. I have them all on the same web server. So when you have these companies claiming that they're in different countries of the world, they're here, they're there, they're everywhere, the infrastructure is global, and then I find them all on one web server, it kind of is a bit weird. So this here is a website. This website has been going, let me see if I can figure out when it's been going. Okay, I'm just going to actually chuck this into our investigation because I hadn't actually done an investigation. Let's see. If I can find it, we'll go here. We're getting a bit distracted, but I think it's always good to show you how we research stuff so you know we don't just make this stuff up. So could you please, so now I'm going to go to that screen. Could you please tell me whether this website is connected to the other websites? All right, so now we've got, we'll go through and it'll analyze that image for me. And we'll see what it comes back and says. But this is what we do. So this is the investigation we're doing. And hey, look, what I'm also claiming is this TV show here may not even be connected to the other company. I don't really know. It's got the same logo. I think it would be a bit of a stretch to say it may be an independent company. But I do think that this company's set up to insinuate that it is part of their big global brand. But I don't believe this is doing anything. Now, they claim they've got hydrogen cars as well, but when I asked the guy for any brands or any proof that they've got any, technology, I didn't get anything. So, as I said, I don't know whether this is associated. I don't believe it is, just at first glance. But let's have a listen to see what it says about that website and see what we can come up with. It might be of interest.
Based on what you've shown, yes, there appears to be a connection, but it's important to distinguish between a technical connection and proof that the same legal entity operates both websites. Here's what I can see from the URL scan report. Hash strong indications of a connection. 1. Branding. The page title is, open quote, Play Global Productions Austria, close quote. The website clearly uses the Play Global branding and logo, which is the same branding used on playglobal.lu. 2. Similar business narrative. The screenshot refers to Play Global Productions, Austria, storytelling media production. Your research into playglobal.lu shows that one of the company's stated business divisions is Play Global Productions, including movie production activities in Austria and the United States. That is consistent with the content on playglobal.tv. 3. Domain naming. Using playglobal.lu, playglobal.tv is consistent with a company operating multiple domains under the same brand. Differences? There are also some differences worth noting. The technologies detected are much simpler. Bootstrap, jQuery, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, whereas playglobal.lu is a much larger WordPress site with numerous plugins. That suggests playglobal.tv may have been built separately or by a different developer or for a specific business division. That's not unusual. Hosting URL scan shows Ionos, Germany. Earlier you found playglobal.lu hosted differently. Different hosting providers do not indicate different ownership. Many companies host different projects on different infrastructure. What this does not prove, the scan does not prove, both domains have the same registrant, the same company owns both, they share administrators. To establish that you'd want things like WOIS history, DNS history, SSL certificate history, historical snapshots, company records, shared Google Analytics IDs, shared Google Tag Manager IDs, common IP history. My assessment, I'd describe it like this in your investigation. Open quote, playglobal.tv appears to be another website operating under the Play Global brand. It uses the same branding, references Play Global Productions in Austria, and aligns with business activities described on playglobal.lu. While this strongly suggests a relationship between the two websites, further technical or corporate records would be needed to conclusively establish common ownership or administration. Close quote. I also think it's worth investigating playglobal.tv further. Production companies often leave a surprisingly rich trail of information: videos, metadata, staff names, copyright notices, historical snapshots, and archived content can all help build a clearer picture of how the wider Play Global ecosystem has evolved. That could add another useful dimension to your investigation.
Yeah. So you can see where I'm coming from. Now, if I was, I'm not saying they're running a scam, but if I was running a scam and I know what I know, I would go to India. I would say I want 10 different websites set up, one for a production company, one for a software development company, blah, 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 blah. And then I would have all these standalone websites, available. Now, if you want to contact this company, you've got press and info as emails, and impressions. What's this? Hello. Impressions. Don't even know what that is. So, what is impressums? I'm just going to chuck that in there. What's this? Let's just chuck that back in here. What? Please summarize this. Please quickly summarize this. Okay, so that's, oh no, not that. Let's see if we can go back to that. So let's ask for English. Can we get that? Why can't I do that? Oh, it might just be quicker to download the sucker. Desktop impressions. Let's run with this in English. All right. So you can sort of see, you know, this is sort of where we investigate things. So I'm an OSINT investigator. That basically means that I use anything they provide us. I always say if anyone's going to fall, they're going to fall on their own sword. But that is a pretty basic website for a production company. So any other company that you research, I've just had some knowledge of production companies. I've been researching them myself. This is a pretty basic website for a company that makes the claims that they are. So let's have a wee quick look and see what it said on this one.
Here's a concise English summary of the PlayGlobal Productions GmbH legal notice. Impressum. Company name PlayGlobal Productions GmbH. Business film production. Address Reitschulgasse 3 9500 Villach, Austria. Company registration FN 5516990I. Commercial Court of Klagenfurt. V8 number AU 76567706. GLN 911305167. Email info@playglobal.tv. Website playglobal.tv. Managing Directors Manuel Neuwirth and Wolfram Winkler. Supervisory Authority Villach Municipal Authority. Industry Membership Austrian Economic Chamber WKO. The remainder of the document is largely standard website legal text, including a disclaimer stating they are not liable for inaccuracies or third-party content, a copyright notice protecting website text, images, and videos, a privacy policy explaining how visitor data is collected and processed under the EU GDPR, information about users' data protection rights, access correction, deletion, etc., a statement that website hosting logs, such as IP addresses and browser information, are typically retained for around 2 weeks for security purposes. For your investigation is that Manuel Neuwirth is listed as a managing director of PlayGlobal Productions GmbH, and he is also identified elsewhere in the PlayGlobal ecosystem as vice chairman COO of PlayGlobal. This provides a documented corporate link between playglobal.tv and the wider PlayGlobal brand.
Right, so straight away I did a search and I found that Green Solar seems to have the same address. So, you know, it's all like these addresses that these companies use, and I can't verify this. I mean, there may be two addresses, but that's what I do, and we've done it before where we've found that the same companies are using the same address for different things, you know, and look, I don't even know what that says, but you get the idea that researching things, you go down, you know, if their address is here, and if we go and find that address on the internet and we get a building that looks like this with no branding, it's a pretty good address to pick to hide our identity. And then when you search for that address and you find there's also a solar company using this address and you can't see any names of solar, then you start to think, well, wonder if they're just using any old address, you know, to get this. And this is, you know, it just doesn't prove that the company exists. Okay, so then you go to the company and you might just search for the company office. And look, the only place we can see that company registrar is actually on their own website. So normally if I search for my company address, you would find, oh, that's interesting. You would find, what am I trying to say? You would find the company registration popping up and the like. Now, I don't know why this is the case, but why did this company turn up when I searched for this? Let's have a look. So you can see where we're going with this.
The VAT number ATU 76,567,706 is officially registered to PlayGlobal Productions GmbH, located in Villach, Austria. The company is involved in media and broadcasting production, project development, and operates as part of the broader international PLAYGLOBAL business network. Would you like more information regarding the company's registration details or specifics about their business operations?
Well, now we look like we've got a different address here. So this one here is number 4. Before it was number 3, whatever unit number. So now I'm a bit confused. So now we're going to, I can see, yeah, it's just like I haven't got enough time to research this in real time, but there might actually be a company called PLAYGLOBAL Productions GmbH. I don't know. So you can do your own research on this, but you want to find out, whether they really do operate out of this tree. No, let's go back around here. So now we've got a different address, have we? This looks like a well-established building. So all of a sudden, are we on the wrong side of the road? Are we here? What's this here? You see where I'm going with this? I mean, it's a never-ending, are they behind this tree? I mean, we just showed you that the same company had a different address. It just goes on and on and on. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. Accept all. Let's see, Global Productions, Austria. So here's the company registration, which is cool. And yes, it's got the tree address. And look, it even tells you, okay, well, here you go. So network. So now we have got a larger network of websites. So I don't know about you, but do you have faith that this PLAYGLOBAL Productions company is actually part of this company? Are they the same company? So what have we got? And then we've got Play over here, and we've got Daniel. So it's telling us that this network, so where's this company actually registered to? So this would be worthwhile putting into AI and asking more questions about these companies. Could you please give me any information about this? All right, so now we can come back to here and we could try to get as much information. I don't know if you can export that information. That would be quite handy. Watch, is there an English version? So I'm just going to do the crude way of doing it and see what it comes up with. Oops. All right, there we go. Let's go back and make sure I get that number right. I'll just make sure I did get that number right, so then I copied it. Yep. All right, let's see what it says this time. So to me, it looks like they've got a whole lot of companies associated together. And from first glance here, it looks like that it's all come from here to here. And there's Daniel. So Daniel's got total control of all the companies in Germany. Is that what we're looking at? It says he's director. And then we're back to here. I don't really know how to read those things, but other people may actually know how to read that. I will stick it in the chat room. Right. And now we go back to ChatGPT. What does ChatGPT tell me about this? Nothing at the moment. Let's see if it comes up with anything. Right. So it's their corporate footprint, film production, film distributor. So we'll get that read in a second. It's got it into a busy. Austrian company, finance, it states business proposal, film production, film distributor. Oh, here we go. Starting to pick it out now. Now remember, this is the company. If this is the corporate footprint, this is a company alleging that it's on the pathway of generating $100 billion worth of revenue, which is quite a hard case. But anyway, let's have a listen and see what ChatGPT says, not me. Let's have a read.
Yes, this is useful because it shows PLAYGLOBAL has an Austrian corporate footprint, not just the Luxembourg entity. From the North data information you pasted, PLAYGLOBAL Productions GmbH is an Austrian company in Villach with company number 169I. Its stated business purpose is film production, film distribution, and film rental distribution. Other public company sources also list the current address as Kleinzattelstrasse 4, 9500 Villach, and identify Manuel Neuwirth as the current managing director. This matters because Manuel Neuwirth is also named on the Play Global website as vice chairman/COO, so this creates a documented overlap between Play Global Productions, Play Global Austria GmbH, and the wider Play Global network. Your pasted North Data network also shows links involving Daniel Baumgartner, Manuel Neuwirth, Play Global SA, Play Global Austria GmbH, and PGIC Trade Management Limited. The public history you pasted suggests, registered in March 2021, initial managing directors Manuel Neuwirth and Wolfram Winkler. Capital 35,000. Wolfram Winkler later ceased being managing director shareholder in April 2023. Annual accounts were filed for 2021, 2022, 2023 and 2024. Address update published in February 2026. One important distinction, Play Global Productions GmbH appears to be a real Austrian film production company. That does not verify the investment, token, fund, or recovery claims made elsewhere. It simply helps map the corporate network and confirms that PlayGlobal.tv is likely part of the wider Play Global ecosystem.
Wow, don't you love ChatGPT? But this company is telling me they've been going for 16 years. So the questions now would be, what is the company that started 16 years ago? You have to do your own research on that, but these are some of the tools that we use when we're going through. And this is some of the rabbit holes that we get ourselves into when we first go to these websites. But hey, if that's a real company, I didn't say it wasn't a real company. I just said at first glance, this doesn't look like a real company. To me, this could be for another purpose, and I'll leave that to your imagination. But that's what we do when we start these investigations. We go into here and then we go persons of interest. And at the moment, we've got 2 persons of interest, which we're gathering information from. And this is why this is only the beginning of this investigation. So if you have any information about Daniel or Christian, the 2 people that seem to be the front of both these companies that we're talking about, please do let me know. And that will strengthen the blog and the video. And that's why we stopped for a minute there. We'll get back into it. Play Global's vision versus the public evidence. Before researching any conclusions, I spent considerable time reviewing Play Global's official website. At first glance, it presented itself as an ambitious vision of a global organization operating across technology, healthcare, renewable energy, luxury developments, real estate, and digital assets. Well, we just looked at the corporate footprint there, so there may be another arm to this whole company that we don't know about. And they do claim that they have some sort of presence in the UAE, and they also claim that they have some presence, I believe, in America. The messaging is polished, professional, and deliberately aspirational. I mean, this company is going to the moon, or Mars, as Elon Musk would say. Throughout the site, Play Global describes itself as an exclusive community focused on long-term value creation rather than short-term profits. It speaks of elite investors, sustainable wealth, research and development, tokenized assets, global partnerships, and a proposed, get this, 100 billion super asset fund. Yes, the overall impression is one of a well-connected inspirational organization with significant attributions. Am I saying that word right?
Ambitions.
Ambitions. There is certainly no shortage of the vision. Now, how many times have we investigated things, ladies and gentlemen, and seen these amazing visions? Now, how many times has any company ever delivered? Everything they always say is in the future and nothing in the present. And I'm not saying whatever you can turn that, you can make your own conclusions in this particular company. But we want to find out, I'd always like to find out who's paying the wages and where's the money coming from. And that's why we couldn't get any answers. What I found more challenging was independently verifying many of the website's biggest claims. The website refers to global operations, proprietary, I can't even say that word, but I know it. Proprietary technologies, healthcare initiatives, large-scale infrastructure projects, luxury developments, international investment opportunities. However, I found comparatively a little supporting documentation that would allow an outsider to verify many of these statements. I was unable to locate audited financial statements, completed flagship projects, independently verified case studies, and other publicly available evidence demonstrating the scale of activity being described. That does not mean these projects do not exist. As I showed you, we do believe there may be a production company, but I still haven't found any productions that they have done, just using that one as an example. It simply means that based on material currently available to the public, many of PlayGlobal's most significant claims rely largely on the company's own descriptions rather than independently verified evidence. Now, this independently verified evidence word, I'm going to get tongue twisted on that because it's going to come up a lot in this blog. Tamtram LV, nice to see you here. Thank you very much for being here. I'll put your wee message on the screen, shall we? Make you part of the show. Look at that. Boom. Love heart to Danny. Who is behind PlayGlobal? According to the website, PlayGlobal SA is headquartered in Luxembourg and is led by Daniel. Now, I'm not going to pronounce your name, Daniel. I know you're watching.
Baumgartner.
Baumgartner. I might be able to get that one. Baumgartner. He's the chairman and CEO of this massive company. Now,
Manuel Neuwirth.
Manuel Neuwirth, Vice President, COO, and Thomas Leburn, CFO. That's what we got from your own website. The company also promotes an extensive advisory board composing individuals from backgrounds including law, finance, healthcare, architecture, technology, and international business. On paper, the leadership team appears impressive. Many of these features describe successful careers spanning investment banking, corporate law, engineering, is it medical? Medical research, government advisory roles, and international business development. Several members also maintain professional LinkedIn profiles that are consistent with the biographies published on the PlayGlobal website. Now, I'm not saying this is the case, but there was a company called the United Allied States, and they were claiming that they had their own country. And I went through that website at the time. This was Stephen McCullough, who tried to do a $3.8 million lawsuit against me, claiming defamation. Now, when he had his website, he had he had a transport minister, he had educational minister, he had every Tom, Dick, and Harry. The whole website was set up, and it was called the United Allied States. Absolutely a hoot. He even got sworn in by Congress. We went through that website, and we went through all the profiles of the people on that website. We contacted those people directly, and we found out those people had no association to that company. One person said he was aware of it. He thought it was a joke, didn't realize it was that serious. That's what some of these investigations that we have done have led into. So even though for your own skills, if you get my ebooks, you will find these are what you need to start looking out for. You need to go through these LinkedIn profiles. You need to connect with these people on LinkedIn, and you need to verify that they are actually associated with the companies. I'm not saying this is the case here, but in my previous investigations, we have proven time and time again that people will steal people's identity, put them on a website that you never find in the search engines, and claim that they are part of the organization. And I'm not saying that's the case. I've made that perfectly clear. But I am saying that when you investigate these opportunities, you want to do due diligence like that, because you may be surprised how many people come back to you and go, oh yes, but I don't work there anymore. I work over here, but I let them carry on using mine, or whatever it is. We've seen it all before. An advisory board can add credibility to an organization. That's why they want them. But it's also important to understand what role those individuals actually perform. Public biographies. Let's see if we can get it right. Biographies and professional achievements do not, by themselves, validate every statement made everywhere on the company's website or by its promoters. And that's the other thing. In these Zoom meetings we go into, we have heard them say whatever it takes to get the sale across the line. So just because they've got a structure doesn't mean it validates everything. And then, as I just said, you need to go in there and check out the structure. As I reviewed the material, I found myself asking several particular questions. have all of the individuals featured actively agreed to be associated with Play Global's current business activities? Now, that's something you'll need to research yourself. What level of oversight do they exercise? Like, what power do they have in the companies? Now, I'll give you another example while we're here. Goliath Ventures, a $400 million Ponzi scheme that we just took down in Florida. Christopher Delgado and Nick Petrillo were running that company. On their corporate structure of their website, they had all these individuals that were deemed to be called partners. However, through the court documents and the filings by the FBI, these partners didn't have any control over the company. These partners were young whippersnapper guys who were recruiting as salespeople. They told these partners to set themselves up their own companies and the like. Long story short, these partners weren't playing any active role as partners. They had no control over the money, no control over company decisions. They were just labeled partners. So if you're doing your due diligence on companies like this, you want to research what active role these people actually have in the companies. Because using Goliath Ventures as an example, we can see that sometimes these labels that they put on people's names does not actually match up to the activities they're doing in the company, or if they're doing anything at all. They independently reviewed the company's investment propositions, tokenization strategies, and public representations, because the tokenization strategies have just meant to have been out the last year and a half. So we've heard, going by what we found in the Zoom meeting. It's a new division of this Play Global company. But you have to do your own research. Those are not accusations. They are reasonable questions that any prospective investor may ask before placing trust or their own money into that organization. Look, we're sick and tired of it. Look, $400 million went missing with Goliath Ventures. People who invested didn't do the due diligence. They relied on a friend's recommendation. So I'm sick of talking to people at the bottom of the cliff. In fact, we're at the top of the cliff, saving people before they take that leap of faith because a friend and a family member decided that it was a good investment because he's done the due diligence, what you thought he hadn't done it properly. You are allowed to ask questions. If you don't get the answers, then you need to keep asking those questions. If you don't get the answers to the questions that you ask, then do not invest in companies, because you need to get answers these days. We're sick and tired of people losing money to these investment opportunities. Due diligence is very important. Do not rely on a friend's due diligence, because he probably doesn't know what he's got himself into. As this investigation progressed, one name in particular become increasingly relevant, and that is Daniel, and I'm not going to say his last name. His role extended beyond serving as Play Global's chief executive officer. He would later be identified as the person who introduced the Indian lawyer, Sandeep Roy, in the MHT Trading Bot recovery effort. So he introduced a lawyer into the recovery effort, creating the first documented link between Play Global and the legal action being pursued on behalf of MHT victims. So there you go. So he actually acknowledged in the video that he's trying to get removed at the moment that he was helping with the lawyer, and he was helping with the recovery effort. Now, there's nothing wrong in doing that. The lawyer who entered the story. Now, this is quite interesting. This is really interesting. As an investigation gathered momentum, Play Global's representative encouraged me to speak directly with the Indian lawyer. They said was leading the legal action against the legal action. Now, if I've got legal action against me, I tell you now, I will have a legal case document number. Legal action against those responsible for the MHT Trading Bot collapse. His name was Sandeep Roy. Initially, I approached this cautiously. I had been invited with an email address using the domain name. Now get this, I didn't link this through, which I will do later on. It's called SRV Law in Inc. So what do you do? First of all, you go straight to the name and you get this: launching soon. Contact us, and it's hosted with GoDaddy. So if I went to another company, so we went to another company, And this one's called SRV Legal India. So we've got SRV Law, and then we've got SRV Legal in India. Now, this company, I don't believe, has got any association with the company that we're talking about. However, I did contact this guy and ask him if he was aware of another company called SRV Law India, because I believe there is a possibility that if my research shows me correct, that these companies sometimes pass off the name of other companies. Now, I haven't heard back from this lawyer, but I have made him aware of my investigation. So it does seem unusual that an established lawyer has a website called Legal, and then there's another website out there called srvlaw.india with coming soon. So that's what I found. A website that appeared to have been registered only recently, 1 month ago. And at the time of my inquiries, display little more than coming soon page. Naturally, that raised questions during my due diligence. You can see where I'm going with this. Rather than simply accepting the introduction, I began to verify what I could. I examined the domain name registration, searched for public records, and looked for evidence that lawyer's professional background. Shortly after, I received a direct email from a lawyer in that email address, Sandeep Roy himself. He invited me to verify his credentials by searching LinkedIn and his LinkedIn profile, and later connected with me directly through LinkedIn, confirming that I was communicating with a legitimate individual. So normally, if you were given a lawyer's LinkedIn profile, you'll be given the link. But what they told me to do was to search for his name and didn't give me the link. So since then, I have actually connected with this lawyer, if he's a lawyer, and I'm pretty sure he is, because if I look at the history of his LinkedIn account, we can see that he's been associated with this company and all these companies. Now, I know this probably isn't fair to say, but even though this looks like a legitimate lawyer, even though I've connected with this legitimate lawyer, I have seen LinkedIn profiles being stolen by individuals, hijacked. And if you go into, the about, report, block, following, recommendations, save, what I can often find is this may be a 10-year-old LinkedIn profile. It literally could be pimped out as a lawyer. So what do I do to verify that this LinkedIn profile is correct? Normally what I do is I go to the latest activity, and I can see that he's commented on something 3 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure that was 3 weeks ago. And this builds credibility, but then I could go through here and I could find that there might be a 5-year gap between comments. I'm not saying that is the case here, but what I'm saying is this is what we do when we go through these profiles. So I can see that this is, when was this? 9 months ago he commented, and I could even do a deeper dive investigation. So for example, if I was concerned that this may not be the real profile of a real lawyer, I would go back to correspondence that he's had even years ago, and I would look at the way he writes and see whether it's similar to how he's communicating these days. You'd look for patterns. Would also do other things, like this is an Indian lawyer. Why is there no Hindi conversation going on here? Just putting it out there. So, okay, at the moment, I'm on the fence. I do believe this could be a genuine lawyer, but even if it is a genuine lawyer and a real lawyer, it still does not prove anything, because I have not received any documents about any lawsuit, about any investigation, any legal action going with an individual. And why is he using a website that's only a month old and a domain name to communicate with me? And also, unfortunately, when you go to LinkedIn and you click on contact, you don't actually normally get right. So this here is absolutely crap. This is publicly available information, but we've now got a phone number. And what have we got? we've got a different email address. It's a Gmail email address. So I could, literally start going down a rabbit hole right now, which I'll try not to, but I could search for that email address and I find that that person has never really used that email address. So there's lots of red flags around me researching somebody on LinkedIn. Hold it a minute. Where did it say? Connected since. Oh, no, I'm connected since. I was going to say this is how old the profile was. Yeah, so we've been connected for 4 days now. But anyway, these are telltale signs. So I've got a lawyer corresponding with me on a brand new domain name. We've got multiple email addresses, and we still haven't received any information from that lawyer. So we go to their LinkedIn profile and later connected with me directly through LinkedIn, confirming that I was communicating with a genuine individual. I'm still on the fence on that. That answered one question, but raises several other questions. In his correspondence, Mr. Roy explained that he became involved with Daniel, introduced him to members of MHT Recovery Group. According to Mr. Roy, he suspended identified. I've got somebody on the phone in the background. I'm listening to a phone call and trying to read at the same time, so I'm just going to get this read.
According to Mr. Roy, he subsequently identified the individual he believes to be the principal suspect, prepared a criminal complaint and is now pursuing legal action through the appropriate authorities in India. These are significant claims.
Yes, so if I've got a criminal complaint in the courts about me, there's always a file number. As any investigative journalist should, I requested documents that could independently verify, including FIR numbers, court references, police acknowledgement, and details of any proceedings that had commenced. At the time of writing this, I have received explanations describing the legal strategy and the work allegedly undertaken, but I am still waiting for supporting documents that would allow those claims to be independently verified. For me, that distinction is important. Verifying the identity of a lawyer is one thing, verifying the legal process is another, and proceedings is entirely, I'm not even saying legally proceeding is another entity. So there's two things going on here. Okay, so now I've verified potentially there is a real lawyer. That's verifying the legal proceeding is another. It's not even right. What am I saying here?
Verifying the legal proceedings is another entirely.
I don't think that's quite right. But anyway, let's carry on. Following the evidence, not the narrative. One of the most interesting aspects of the investigation has been comparing the public narrative with the evidence that has been made available. Throughout the Zoom presentations, Telegram updates, subsequent correspondence, investors have been told that substantial progress has been made. Well, it doesn't look like it, does it? References have been made to criminal complaints, police investigations, and enforcement agencies, legal action in India, and on more than one occasion, the possibility of Interpol becoming involved. Now, that's pretty out there claims. They are serious statements. As a journalist, I don't dismiss claims simply because they should be. I'm going to have to read that.
As a journalist, I don't dismiss claims simply because they sound ambitious. Equally, I don't accept them simply because they are confidently presented. My responsibility is to ask the same question every investigator should ask.
I don't know what your comments are there in the chat room, but nice to have you here. SUVLO. I don't even know what that means. So if you want to explain that a little bit more, you're more than welcome to. But anyway, as a journalist, is asked questions. So what I'm doing here, guys, I'm not even alleging anything. I'm just asking the questions and getting no answers. And they've just put up these barriers. Now, if I've lost all my money to a Ponzi scheme or a scam, and somebody's been responsible for a company, and then all of a sudden somebody they hired or had working in the company, or whoever it was, has stolen all my money, and now they're claiming that they're helping me get my money back, then I'm allowed to ask questions. Whether I get the answers is up to the company. If they give me answers and proof, then it's going to help verify that they're not part of the exit strategy, which I personally believe could be the case, but I've got no evidence of that other than, trust me, bro, I'm not, and I wouldn't do it. I mean, It's unreal. What evidence can be independently verified is the question. To date, I've received explanations. I've received one photograph, which actually I don't know if I have actually got there. 1 minute. I wouldn't mind actually seeing if I could actually find that photo, because I wouldn't mind just seeing if we did actually have a photo. I can't remember when I got the photo. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to read the next paragraph. I'm going to see if I can actually find the photo I'm looking for. I just don't know why I can't find it. I'll see if we can find the photo. It won't be a second. We'll read this and then you'll get a bit of a hurry up.
To date, I have received explanations, photographs, LinkedIn profiles and assurances that significant legal work is underway. I have also been invited to Zoom meetings and encouraged to speak directly with those involved. What I have not yet received are the documents that would allow me to independently confirm many of the public claims being made. That doesn't mean those documents don't exist. It simply means I cannot report them as established fact until I have seen them for myself. This distinction matters because the audience for these updates is made up largely of people who have already suffered financial losses. They deserve more than optimism and reassurance. They deserve information that can be independently verified. If criminal proceedings are progressing, that would be welcome news.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet. So it would be, yeah. So, I mean, if we could prove, that there was some sort of financial, some criminal proceedings happening, that would be absolutely amazing. So I'm just trying to find my, I think I did actually find them somewhere, but I'm just trying to find the pictures that he sent me, because I think this was meant to be Christian. Let's see what we got here. Christian. 1 minute, please, caller. I just want to see if I can find it. It's on another screen, so I can't show you what I'm looking at. Let's go to my spam-demic folder, and let's see if I can find Christian. There's Christian there, and I don't know why, I'm sure he sent me a photo, but I can't find it. And it was a photo of them all standing outside in India, and I just can't find it for looking. I don't know what I did with it, but I'm sure I emailed it somewhere. I'll just see if I can find it somewhere. It'll be worthwhile finding it. No. Oh dear, no, I'm not going to be able to find it in a hurry, but it would be such a good thing to show you, because it wasn't the only thing I received is this one photo. And I'll just see if I've got it with my Avengers, because normally we grab that sort of stuff and put that somewhere clever when we get stuff like that, because we don't get a photo all the time. Oh, here we go. Got these photos here. No. All right, I've got another place I can look. 1 minute, please, caller. All good things come to those who wait. Oh, somebody's having a nice breakfast. Let's see. Yeah, oh, what a shame. We get too many messages here to go through, unfortunately. No. Maybe. 1 minute, please. No. I might have it in my photo album. Let's have a look. I'll just do a quick look. Sometimes I save these things, and then you go, oh, I did save that. India. Yeah, okay. So if official documents support the public statements being made, I will certainly report them fairly. I'm not going to. I'm not trying to push this company into. I'm not making false claims. What I'm trying to do is obviously provide the evidence. Now, they did give me a photo of somebody, and I actually think it's important that we find it, and it pisses me off when I can't find it. So I'm just trying to, I might just search for India. That might be a better one. India. Let's have a look here. Let's say India. Right. And let's see if we can find the photo in here. 1 second, please, caller. We've got an attachment. No, we haven't. We've got the first 4-page email. That one there. Oh, here we go. What have we got? No, that's not it either. Hate when I can't find stuff. it's a problem. Bane in my career is actually keeping hold of all the evidence and putting it in one place. When I do find it, I certainly will be storing it somewhere clever. But there may be a reason. I don't think it's there. India. So we've got the correspondence from the lawyer. So these, I'm just going to read the questions that we asked the lawyer when I. Oh no, this is the other lawyer that we wrote to asking if he knew the other company called SRV Law.
Dear Mr. Vishwakarma and the team at SRV Legal LLP, I hope
found it.
this email finds you well. My name is Danny DeHeck. I am an investigative journalist based in New Zealand who investigates online investment fraud, cryptocurrency schemes and cross-border financial scams. I am writing because I am currently investigating an investment scheme known as MHT Trading Bot. During my investigation, one of the organizers supplied me with the following contact details for an Indian lawyer, whom they claim has been acting on behalf of investors for approximately 1 to 2 years. Name provided, Sandeep Roy. Email address provided, sandeeproy@srvlaw.in. The individuals involved have publicly claimed that this lawyer has been handling criminal proceedings in India relating to MHT, including communications with police, legal proceedings and recovery efforts. Naturally, before relying on any information provided to me, I attempted to verify the lawyer's credentials. During those inquiries,
So yeah, I don't need that anymore, but basically I was buying myself some time with that statement. But now you obviously see I've stayed this. So this must have been posted in their WhatsApp group. And there's Daniel, I've got his name already. And I believe that one of those guys is the lawyer, maybe the guy in the start. So here's a photo in India, and I don't even know where they are. But as I said, they could be there. They've got documents in the hands there, so there could actually be a lawsuit. They could be investigating something. They may have hired what sounds like they hired a programmer, and the programmer had control of the website and took off with everything. So that was the other question I did ask, is why do they allow that to happen? How did a company that's meant to be state of the art, and that we're going back to not Play Global, we're talking about MHT, how did they allow that to happen in the first place? I mean, if you're investigating in state-of-the-art Web3 companies, if it was Web3, they all are these days, then how did that get to the stage where somebody could rip off everything and do what they did? It just does not make sense. So until then, I believe the most responsible approach is to distinguish what has been claimed and what has been independently confirmed. And so far, we've got nothing independently confirmed. Even the lawyer hasn't provided me anything. That is not skepticism for its own sake. It is simply the standard I apply to every investigation that I publish. The Play Global website raises more questions than it answers. As I continued my due diligence, I spent a considerable time reviewing Play Global's official site. I wasn't looking for marketing material. I was looking for evidence. This website presents Play Global as an established international organization headquartered in Luxembourg, describing an ecosystem that spans technology, healthcare, renewable energy, luxury assets, real estate, digital finance, and global investment opportunities. It repeatedly refers to ethical investing, stability, and creating long-term value for future generations. Oh, generational wealth. The language is certainly compelling. What caught my attention, however, was the scale of the claims. Play Global describes itself as having origins dating back to 2010. Now, we just showed you that other footprint that we showed you for the Germany company. It seems to only go back to 2021. Speaks of an international network involving governments, royal families, high net worth individuals, and sovereign wealth funds, and even states that its projected portfolio was once valued more than $20 billion. Elsewhere, the company produces a proposed 100 billion super asset fund alongside Play Global Digital and a tokenized investment system. Those are extraordinary figures. Anyone investing in this company needs to ask the hard questions, and if you're not getting the answers, then do not invest. Naturally, I began looking for supporting documentation that would normally accompany claims of that magnitude, and they are large claims. I expected to find independently verifiable information such as audited financial statements, completed flagship projects, regulatory registrations, annual reports, and publicly available evidence demonstrating the scale of the operation being described. Instead, much of what I found relied on the company's own descriptions and its
ambitions.
And future plans. We're going to be this, we're going to be that, we're going to be that. It's just the same old stuff, in my opinion. That does not mean the project are fictitious, I better get that word right. Fictitious, nor does it mean they will never materialize. However, when an organization presents itself as a major international investment group, managing significant assets and promoting exclusive investment opportunities, I believe it's reasonable for prospective investors to expect a corresponding level of transparency. The more I read, the more I found myself turning to the same simple question: where is the independently verifiable evidence that supports the scale of the claims being made? It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. The investment language is difficult to ignore. One of the most important parts of PlayGlobal's website is the way it speaks to potential participants. Although the company repeatedly frames itself around values, innovation, and stability, the language used throughout the website is heavily centered on investors, exclusive access, asset portfolios, returns, valued appreciation. Is that appreciation?
Appreciation.
And long-term financial benefit. That matters. This is not a website simply describing a social club or a technology, what's that word?
Incubator.
Play Global describes itself as a platform for developing financial and implementing exclusive projects. These are fantastic claims. It says access is restricted to a selective group of investors, and that projects are chosen because they are not available on the open market. So this is like, I always think of that lady who said that one drop of blood she can analyze one drop of blood with her technology, and everyone invested. Seems similar to me. The website also speaks about scarcity driven. I think that's right.
Scarcity.
Yeah, scarcity driving value. Value through limited availability. That phrase stood out to me because scarcity was often used in investment marketing to make people feel they are being given access to something rare, privileged, or urgent. Play Global also refers to stable returns over the long term, natural value appreciation, exclusive investment opportunities, long-term benefits for investors, projects not available on open market. The type of language raises important regulatory questions, particularly with PLAYGLOBAL Digital, is also discussing tokenization, master tokens, sub-tokens, and access to real-world assets. If the company is promoting tokenized assets to investment-style opportunities, especially to people in Europe, it is reasonable to ask what legal and regulatory framework applies. This is prospectus, is that right?
Prospectus.
Is there fundamental regulated fund, and is there now I can't say, they need a white paper. So this is important.
MiCA compliant white paper.
So this is a thing that just come into effect, I think, 5 days ago, that anyone that wants to market to Europe needs to have one of these markets in crypto access regulations, MECA, I think it's called. I don't even know what that is. So what does it actually say? So this is what they need to have, one of these licenses.
Markets in crypto assets regulation.
So they need to apply. And to apply to have one of these, they should already have this in place. So I asked that question. do they have this white paper? Because if they don't, then they shouldn't be marketing to the European investors. And as far as we've been told, we've been asking for these documents. We haven't received them. Is there a licensed crypto asset service provider involved? Who is responsible if the claims made to the investors turn out inaccurate? When it all goes pear-shaped, who do we connect to? Those questions are not technicalities. They go directly to investor protection. That's what these organisations are set up for. They're here to protect the investments. Are they saying they're decentralised and they don't need this stuff? Well, not anymore. Things are starting to clean up in the crypto world. They go directly to investor protection. When people are being asked to trust an exclusive ecosystem with ambitious claims about fund assets and future value, the legal structure matters just as much as the marketing. So you can market something on one hand, you've got to back it up with documents on the other hand. I asked for the documents. I have no documents to this date. I've been given some Indian lawyer who's chasing some dream of being able to collect the money that's been stolen from other fallen projects with the same associates. When questions lead to digital threats. I've been investigating Ponzi schemes, MLM investment fraud for years. I'm no stranger to criticism. If a company believes I've made a factual error, I generally welcome the opportunity to correct it. That's why I routinely offer a right of reply before publishing my filings. This investigation took a different turn. Shortly after I attended the Zoom meeting and asking questions, I began receiving emails demanding I remove my reporting. I was told by PLAYGLOBAL Digital that PLAYGLOBAL Digital had nothing to do with MHT. Well, I'm sure you've got your own conclusion on that now. And that I should stop mixing the two together. Well, it's not me doing it, it's you guys doing it. Privacy complaints subsequently lodged with YouTube, resulting in the removal of my video under YouTube privacy guidelines. That was it decision? Decisions surprised me. The meeting I attended was publicly accessible. I joined using a Zoom link that had been circulated within MHT community, and anyone with that link could have attended. It wasn't a private meeting. And even if it was, I was in the meeting. I was present throughout the meeting. I asked questions openly and later reported on what had been said. I did not publish home addresses, telephone numbers, or financial records, or any other private personal information. Instead, my reporting focused on the public statements made during the meeting, the relationship between the individuals involved, the claims being presented to investors, the evidence supporting those claims. Following the removal of my video, yes, YouTube removed one of my videos, and that happens quite a lot. That's why I do live streaming. I'm now broadcasting on 6 different places, and I'll upload this video afterwards as well. I exercised YouTube's appeal process and explained why I believe the consistent constituted investigative journalism in the meets public. The investigative journalism in the public interest rather than a breach of privacy. So it was a public interest video. It wasn't done like the one I'm doing now. This is obviously in my investigation and I'm reading it. This was a meeting discussed with people. So I didn't break any privacy laws, but they did remove the video, which was quite surprising. It does happen every now and again. Hence why I do my articles on my website, because my website's protected by Google Project Shield and no one can really find out where my website is. You know, they protect me and my journalism. They gave it to me as a privilege as being a journalist, and that's why I keep my content on the internet for so long. And also I publish on many other platforms as well. What I found particularly interesting is that despite legal threats, privacy complaints, communication with PLAYGLOBAL representatives and their lawyer continued, rather than ending the conversation, they continued corresponding with me They continued corresponding with me, answering some questions, introducing me to their lawyer, and expressing a willingness to discuss the matter further. For me, that reinforced one simple principle. The easiest way to resolve legitimate questions is with evidence, not takedown requests. So here they are warring with me, trying to get my content off the internet. Why don't they just answer my bloody questions? My investigation is still ongoing. One of the biggest misconceptions about investigative journalists is that every question must be answered before an article can be published. This isn't how responsible investigations work. We are not reporting from the bottom of the cliff. We're not patching up people that have been pushed over the cliff by promoters. We are at the top of the cliff going head to head with the promoters who are promoting the stuff and asking those hard questions so that you don't have to fall off a cliff and hurt yourself financially. And that's what we do. So this is why we do live streams, and this is why we put together these articles. And that's why we ask the hard questions, which really aren't that hard to answer if you're doing what you claim you're doing. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, as I said at the quote at the very top of this blog. Sometimes the public interest lies in documenting what is known, what is claimed, and what remain unanswered. Waiting infinitively for every promised document or explanation can simply delay important reporting, while new investors continue making decisions based on information currently available. Look, Goliath Ventures, $400 million Ponzi scheme. People wished that I started reporting sooner. As soon as I started reporting, the money froze and people stopped getting their investment. If you are invested in Play Global and are receiving dividends, please reach out to me. Tell me more about how you're getting paid, whether it's with crypto, whether it's into your bank, any documentations. If you've invested in Play Global and you have a contract, I would love to see that contract. If you want me to independently verify that contract, whether it's legit, sound, I will do that. I have a team of people that help me verify these contracts. If you've signed a contract with Play Global, give it to me. I want to see it. I want to know what they promised, what they said. I want to know, like some of the contracts we've seen with Goliath Ventures, they claim that their money was insured. Your principal was insured and they had an insurer. But in the contract, they stated if you wanted to know information about the insurer, you had to email them. They also did an independent audit, which we worked out wasn't from an independent audit company. It was from a sister company of theirs. So in-house audit. And they claimed that 115% of investors' funds were secured at all times in 2024 or 25, I forget, I think it was 24. And these were the claims they made. We challenged those claims when we realized they were all made up. So if you've got a contract with Play Global, please give it to us. Since attending the Zoom meeting, I have continued responding with Play Global representative. Even 3 o'clock last night, I responded to Daniel's email, 4-page email. Communicated directly with their Indian lawyer, who's not technically their Indian lawyer, but he's theoretically going after the guy for MHT, reviewed company material and examined every piece of evidence that had been provided to me. I have also requested documentation that would allow me to independently verify a number of significant claims, including references, criminal complaints, legal proceedings, and investigations in India. Some of those requests remain outstanding. So I've asked for them, haven't received them. As time of publishing this, I have not received, but if I do, I will publish them. In addition, if additional evidence is produced tomorrow, next week, or next month, I will examine it with the same level of scrutiny that I have applied throughout this investigation. If it supports the claims being made, I will report it fairly. I will raise further questions. I will report on those as well. Investigations should follow the evidence, not the predetermined conclusion. I'm not going to trust you, bro. I'm not going to do that. You need to provide me documents. You need, give me a contract that somebody would sign if they were going to invest with you. Show me that sort of stuff. You must be able to give me, there must be some documentation in your company. For that reason, I consider this article to be a living investigation rather than a final chapter. As new documents, corporate records, regulatory information, or legal filings become available, I will continue updating and reporting so readers have the most accurate information possible. My commitment has always been the same. Ask the difficult questions, verify the evidence, report the facts. Whether those facts ultimately support or contradict the claims being made, they deserve to be examined openly and objectively. Now, interesting stuff. Now, this is a big part of the article that I haven't got into yet. Now, I do have some friends that are about to turn up probably in the next 10 to 20 minutes, and I will play music in the background if that happens, and then I'll re-adjourn after they leave. It could be a 20-minute situation. I just haven't seen these people for a while. So I'm just sort of putting a bit of a notice on here, and then I will edit this later on and take out the music part. But let's get into the next section. PLAYGlobal's digital and token ecosystem. After reviewing PLAYGlobal's website, because now you got me fully involved, I discovered that the company isn't simply promoting an international business network, it's also developing what it describes as an exclusive digital ecosystem built around blockchain technology and tokenized assets. According to PLAYGlobal, this ecosystem centers on a master token, supported by various sub-tokens and digital applications known as the key. The company says this structure will provide members with access to current and future projects within PLAYGlobal system. One statement immediately caught my attention. PLAYGlobal Digital describes itself as the only vehicle through which members of the community can gain access to the proposed global PLAYGlobal Super Asset Fund. It further states that participation is 100% tokenized, while simultaneously holds up to 10% of the conventional PLAYGlobal Super Asset Funds for bonuses. It reminds me of another thing called the Vault of Horizon from We Are or Satoshi, which turned out to be a $1.9 billion scam. And I was in a Bloomberg documentary talking about how I chased Sam Lee, which was one of the company directors. This 10% of conventional PLAYGlobal Super Asset Fund bonuses just reminds me of that. You'll have to do your own research into what I've just talked about there if you want to. Go watch the Bloomberg documentary. Those are significant representations. Whenever an investigation or a token offering, I look beyond the marketing language and begin asking practical questions that any prospective participant should also consider. So here's some of the questions I would be asking as soon as somebody made such claims. What legal rights does the token actually provide? Does ownership of the token represent an investment, a membership, or something else entirely? Who controls the underlying assets? How is the token valued? Who determines the price? What happens if the underlying project fails to materialize? So you invest in something that never materializes, or do they just hold your money for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5, and we're going to get around to it. We're going to get around to it. We ran out of money and you've lost all your money. Those are not criticisms of blockchain technology. I have consistently said throughout my investigation that blockchain itself is not the problem. The important issue is understanding exactly what people are being asked to purchase and what legally protects legal. I'm just going to read that last bit because I'm a bit tongue twisted.
Legal protections exist if things do not proceed as expected.
Yep, the pear-shaped community. At the time of writing, I have been unable to locate a publicly available token white paper. So that European thing I just talked about, I can't find the white paper. It's not on their website. Anyone else got it? Please send it to me. Comprehensive tokenomics, independently verified asset valuations, or detailed documentation explaining precisely how master tokens, sub-tokens, or the proposed super asset fund interact from a legal or financial perspective. Nothing. Crickets. Nothing. For prospective participants, those details are arguably far more important than the marketing material itself. Before committing funds to any tokenized system, investors should fully understand what they are buying. what rights they acquire, and what exits. Protects, is that right? I'll never get those two words right.
Protections exist.
Protections exist. Should be the project fail to deliver on its stated objectives. So that's absolutely massive, guys. I mean, you think these claims are amazing, this tokenization shit that you see on the internet all the time. It's complicated stuff. Every time I meet somebody who's lost a whole lot of money to an investment, I asked them, did they fully understand what they invested in? And they said, no, I didn't, but my friend did. So I thought, but now he's in the same boat as me. And I go, yeah, but that friend of yours has been promoting it to 10 other people I know as well. So he was promoting something he didn't know about, but he alleged he understood it all, and it's all complicated new technology, and they hide behind that. So you don't need to hide behind that these days. We've got ChatGPT. So you get told a whole lot of porkies or a whole lot of information. You put it into ChatGPT and you say, what questions should I be asking? And ChatGPT will give you the answers. If these people can't answer these questions, don't invest. Why do you need to give your money away to these people? It's to something that they're hoping will eventuate that may never eventuate. And if it doesn't eventuate, then can you get your money back? How are you going to get your money back? How did you deposit your money? What bank did you put it in? Did your bank try and stop you? I had a guy the other day on the phone, $44,000. And I said, how did the money move to the entity? And he said, I put it into the bank. I said, your bank try and stop you? He said, yeah, they did. And what did you tell the bank? I'm good. I don't need any help. I'm good. I know what I'm doing with my money. So the bank let the money go through. He lost the money. I said, you should have listened to your bank, huh? Why did the bank ask those questions? Super asset fund, big, what have we got here? Big
ambition,
few public details. One of the most ambitious concepts promoted throughout PLAYGLOBAL's ecosystem is the proposed PLAYGLOBAL Super Asset Fund. What the fuck is that? The company describes it as a cornerstone of its long-term strategy. It's just an illusion that will happen. It might be a mirage in the desert, claiming it will provide access to a portfolio of carefully selected projectives spanning multiple industries. Oh, we're in Alice in Wonderland now. According to the website, the funds will be combined traditional assets with digital technology. Oh my God. So if we go back to, I think I've got Goliath's websites. Yes, I have. So I'm just going to give you an idea. So we investigated a $400 million Ponzi scheme, which is, the guy has just pleaded guilty in court, right? If we go to their website, they were telling investors, and this is a $400 million website investment, right? Oh, is that right? Goliath Ventures. Oh, it might be Goliath Ventures Inc. Didn't know they had. Oh, that's interesting. I must have a look at that later. So this company here was established back in 2024. The previous domain name was registered, ironically, at the same time as another scam. And then it went dormant, and then they lightened it up later on. But this was the company, and this was the founder with his frosted tops haircut, who's now going to do 50 years in jail. And look what we do: blockchain technology, liquidity pools, and Bitcoin mining. And we couldn't find, now he's admitted under oath that he committed fraud. None of these activities actually happened. Nothing. They were all claims that this was how they were generating the income. So you can imagine my suspicions when I talked to the CEO or the executive director of PLAYGLOBAL, and I asked him, where is the money coming from? If you've got investors now, how are you paying the returns on the investments? And he couldn't answer those questions. Well, wouldn't answer those questions. So why won't he ask the questions? We just showed you another company that was claiming to do blockchain technology. Whatever that is, it's just crap. Anyway, claiming it will provide access to a portfolio of blah, blah, blah. Digital, it promoted it as an exclusive gateway through which members can participate. On paper, it sounds impressive. As I read further, however, I found myself, hello, Queen of Karma, lovely to see you here. I found myself asking the same questions I would ask any investment fund, regardless of who was promoting it. Where are the funds established? I asked those questions. Who is responsible for managing it? I don't know if I asked that question. I did actually ask that question in the chat room of the Zoom meeting we had. Who independently values the underlying assets? Who audits the fund? Normal questions. What regulatory framework governs its operation? Those questions are particularly relevant because the website refers to 100 billion super asset fund. 100 billion. Claims of that magnitude normally invite scrutiny, and prospective participants deserve to understand exactly what sits behind those figures. I search for the type of information commonly associated with investment funds, such as fund documentation, authenticated financial statements, independent custodials, administrators, regulatory disclosures, or publicly available reports that would help explain the structure in greater detail. At the time of writing, I was unable to locate that information on the public-facing website. Why is that? That does not necessarily mean the document does not exist, but more than likely, from my experience, it simply means that someone considering participating would currently need to rely largely on companies' own representations rather than independently verifiable public information. Do not take the company's word for it. Do you want to go down the same track as Christopher Delgado, who was spending money like it was water? 12 sports cars, 18 Rolex watches, 7 luxury properties. He was spending all the money on lifestyle marketing to give the illusion that he was somebody. He was the man. Here he is sitting in front of the school telling kids how to become successful. And now he's going to be locked up for 50 years because of his lies. People would wish, who invested in Goliath Ventures, that they asked the questions you need to ask this company. If you are thinking of investing in this company, reach out to me and I will ask the questions. I have Daniel's private email address now. I can ask him directly. I haven't got the answers so far. For any organisation promoting significant investment opportunities, transparency is just as important as the vision they tell you. The larger the claims, the greater the expectation that the supporting documentation will be readily available for prospective investors to examine before making informed decisions. Are you making an informed decision? How about this? So the Luxembourg company behind the claims. So we researched the company as much as we could. Global website identifies PLAYGLOBAL SA as a Luxembourg company behind the brand. It imprints lists the address, this address here. It names Daniel, I won't say his name, Manuel, and Thomas as authorized directors, and provides commercial registration numbers. So we did that. So we had a look at this number here, and what did we find? We found a building right in front of Rolex. How convenient is that? So is he in this building? I wouldn't know. That's where they claim their building is. As authorized directors, and provides a commercial registration number called a VAT number. That is useful information, but it is only the starting point. The company registration can confirm that the entity exists, but it does not automatically verify the scale of the business described on its website. It does not prove the existence of a $100 billion fund, completed global projects, and institutional investor relationships, or the value of any asset portfolio. Those are separate claims requiring separate evidence. The public website describes, happy 4th of the day to you. I just saw your second message here. An international organization with activity across Europe, the Middle East, North America, real estate, healthcare, luxury good, technology transfer, renewable energy, and digital assets. Yet the basic corporate information available on the website does not by itself sustain the full scale of those claims. This is important distinctives for readers to understand. A registered company can still make ambitious claims that require validation. Likewise, a polished website and an impressive list of locations do not replace audited accounts, regulatory filings, fund documents, contracts, ownership records, or independently project evidence. For me, the question is not simply, does Play Global SA exist? The more important question is, does the publicly available records support the scale of what Play Global says it is doing? Right, we're still going, guys. I said this was a big investigation, but it's an important one because we want to make sure we cover it first. I just won a High Court decision in New Zealand. Somebody tried to take me to the High Court to get my information removed because they didn't believe it was fair, because I exposed them for impersonating as a company to get a testimonial to get work. I did this. It was in the District Court of New Zealand. I travelled down to Queenstown and I defended myself, and I didn't even have to do much speaking. When I left, 2 weeks later, the judge came out and said that the original blog can remain, and it did. This individual took it to the High Court, claiming that the District Court made the wrong decision. I actually thought I lost, and I thought I'd be asked to remove the article, not because of my reporting, but because the judges and the law system don't like evolving investigations. They want you to have all your evidence lined up in square boxes, all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. And when we are investigating scams, we are doing it in real time. We're in the trenches with these scammers. And we need to ask the questions before people get hurt, because it's all very well going to court and finding out that you have the right to say you lost $1 million to a company, but it's no point doing it at the bottom of the cliff. So we are here. So I won my first High Court appeal by the despondent, whatever they're called. I represented myself, and the judge gave me the big tick that my independent journalist stands, my articles, my website, my content stands, and said to me in the courtroom, you want to make sure you have your facts right, because if you don't, you're not a good journalist. He endorsed what I've done, and the article remained, and I didn't have to change any of it. So that's what I'm doing here. We go through, we put these evidence. So what I'm saying, if this is challenged in the courtroom, I want to make sure I've covered everything. So because I often can't do follow-up articles once a court case is instigated. It's quite tricky, but I'm saying I don't want a court case. I just want these people to answer the questions, which I've asked them, which I don't think are reasonable for people asking for large amounts of money from investors. So we did a scrutinize in real time at the beginning of this blog about one of the other websites that they had. So we did it to two other domain names that we had. And this is really interesting. So let's get into this part. The website security scan. As part of my due diligence, I also reviewed the technical footprint of Play Global's website. This is not the central issue in this investigation, but it is another data point worth recording. An automated scan of Play Global produced a poor security rating. Now, it had a crazy rating, which I don't think I actually... I don't know where I got that from now. Where was that rating? So I went to rating. I'm trying to think where I actually got that rating from. I think it was actually one of my Avengers, and I might have it in front of me here. I'll see. Oh, no, it was in my chat box. Oh, I wonder if I can just search for scan. I might be scan report. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find it, because if it did, oh, good. So this is their security rating, and this is really important. So there's a couple of things I wouldn't mind doing in real time, if you don't mind. I want to include a couple of things extra in the blog, but I think this is important. So this was a sync scan. So let's go here. Produce a sync scan. I don't even know if I meant to put that in there. Let's have a look. I'm just going to First of all, let's just go into the edit side of it. Edit, and I want to go back and I want to link that scan through before I lose it because it was such a goodie. So I'm just going to make sure that we don't have that mentioned anywhere already. I'll just go into edit mode because I think this is actually, no, we don't actually have that edited there. So now we need to find the actual scan, and we'll find that there somewhere. 1 minute, please, caller. 8 references. Whoops. 8. Let's see what we got. There we go. Website security scan, automated scan order. So as part of the due diligence, we also did a technical website, an automated scan. Yeah, so that's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that an A, and we'll make that an S, and we will make that bold. We will now go back to the scan. So this is trying to make your evidence easier, and I can't find it now. There it is. And we'll link to that scan website, and we'll, it's going to be a bit tricky, but we'll do it. Let's see if we can go to the top. It's tricky. We'll now go back to the bottom. Told you it was tricky. I'm working in a wee window here because I've got it all enlarged. Oh, now I can go to the scan word, and there it is. I put that in there. I put that there, make it tick in a new box, and update. Right, so that's saved. And now what I want to do is I want to actually go through, and where we talk about the Indian lawyer, follow the not the narrative, raise the question, legal threats, still ongoing. I think it was the investor is still ongoing. Questions of legal threats. When we talk about the end of client, raises more questions than answers. Following there, but not the narrative. Interpol. I think it will probably go there. So what I want to do now is I want to add media, and we want to hold on, I just need to do something. It won't be a second. I just want to get this over and done with because I don't want this to take all day long. We're going to go here. I'm just going to open that up. I think we're going to, yeah, I'm just going to go and clean up this a little bit. 1 second, please, caller. And so this was in their WhatsApp group. And I will leave it actually. I'll just make sure it's export. And we're going to export, say, for the web. Save, and we'll just put lawyer hyphen India, lawyer in India, desktop. Right. Okay, so what we've done here, we're going to go here, and we're going to go to my desktop. We're going to go Indian lawyer, and we're going to lawyer India, and we'll just leave that there. So what I would like to do is have that there, and now we want to make that here, and we'll give that file size, and this is what we do when we develop websites late at night normally, and we go update. Right, so we go save, and now we go update. And what that means is I can now make that bigger how it was, and now we can hopefully hit refresh. We can. And so what we've got is I've actually added into the blog the photo that we got of following the evidence, and we can see these people in India, and that was posted in their group, WhatsApp group, as evidence, so that can see that. And then we've also got the website scrutiny scan. So part of my investigation was also to do a technical footprint this website. This is not the central issue, as I said, and then we've got an automated scan which you can now click on, and of PLAYGLOBAL LU produced a poor security rating, and it identified multiple configuration issues, including missing security headers, such as the content security policy, which I even have problems with that security issue, I'll be honest. It's a tricky one to get right. Anti-click jacking pretension, strict transport security, and X content type options. The scan also identified the website as running a common WordPress-related technologies, including plugins such as Contact Form 7, Slider. Even I use that scam. Site, I wouldn't use that one because it's got breaches. MailChimp for WordPress, and WordPress Bakery, and that doesn't promote. That does not prove fraud. But what I'm getting at, this is a pretty basic website structure. That's what we got from the scan. But as you can see, the report doesn't say is very good. In fact, you can go through here and read it to your heart's content. You can go through here and see what technology it uses, and it's actually quite exciting. I wouldn't mind actually putting my own website through there to see how I got on. And if you ever are using systems like this, don't always trust them, because if you put google.com in there, you'll find that google.com's also got errors sometimes, but not as many as this one. But what I'm getting at is sometimes you have to make a bit of a compromise when... All right, so it looks like we might have our visitors here in the not too distant future. But anyway, that's what we got so far. So this does not prove fraud. Many legitimate companies use WordPress. Many websites fail automated scans because of the missing security headers or configuration weakness. However, when a company represents itself as an international organization dealing with digital assets, tokenization, investment structures, and exclusive financial opportunities, and it's been going for 16 years, its technical infrastructure becomes relevant. At the very least, it raises reasonable questions. If PLAYGLOBAL Digital represents itself as part of a sophisticated blockchain and asset management system, why does it publicly present itself to have such basic security and configuration issues? That question is not defined evidence of wrongdoing, but it is another example of a gap between the company's highly sophisticated marketing language and the publicly accessible evidence currently available. A fair opportunity to respond. Now, I've gone to extraordinary claims. Often I give people a limit of 24 or 48 or 7 days to respond. But when they respond straight away, well, even before I've had a chance to actually write a reply, it amazes me. Then I don't have to wait 24 hours for the writer response, because they've given me the response, the writer reply in their response. Throughout this investigation, I've made a genuine effort to engage directly with the people involved rather than simply publishing my own assumptions. Following the Zoom meeting, I corresponded with Marco, Christian, and I can't get his name right either. Now, unfortunately,
Christian Barrig
claims to have cancer. He said he's had people in his family die by cancer. He said that he is delaying his cancer treatment until he can get the investors' money back from MHT. Now, that's pretty noble on itself, but that's also an extraordinary claim. So he's denying himself treatment of cancer before he actually gets this guy what he believes has stolen the money from MHT. Now, it would be fair to say that we, as I said in my introduction, we've researched MHT in the past and their trading bot. You're about to see an investigation that we've done previously, and we've actually had Crypto G provide us some facts about what he found with his investigation. We're going to have a look at that. But anyway, this isn't just about PLAYGLOBAL, and it isn't just about MHT Trading Bot, because what they seem to be alleging to me at the moment, that if I did this report, that I could hurt individuals, that people may miss out on getting their money back. And I'm going, what a load of porkies. You know, like, because I'm asking questions about PLAYGLOBAL, all of a sudden, it's going to be detrimental towards the recovery for victims who believe that MHT Trading Bot was legitimate, when they're claiming at the same time that they're two separate entities. So what the heck is that about? It doesn't even make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, as Judge Judy will say, it doesn't. It could be a lie. Representatives from PLAYGLOBAL and eventually an Indian lawyer, Sandeep Roy. My intention was never to create to create a conflict. I was to understand the facts and verify the claims being made. To their credit, communication has not stopped. Play Global representatives consistently maintain that Play Global is not MHT Trading Bot and asked me not to conflate the two organisations. Now, I mean that meaning not to merge them both together as one entity. And I'm not doing that, am I? I hope not. So you are fully understanding that I'm not alleging that Play Global and MHT are one organisation. I'm not even alleging that MHT Trading Bot has actually rebranded itself to Play Global. Play Global claims to be going for 16 years, even though the Play Global SA company seems to have only been going since 2021. However, from my experience, when I look at these organisations, normally they morph into another company. And when I go into a Zoom meeting that are claiming to give victims of MHT some sort of transparent update of recovery, and everybody in that Zoom link are all dressed up wearing Play Global clothes, what am I led to believe? What are you meant to believe? So if you went to that same Zoom meeting now, what would you expect to find? Which is absolutely crazy. And to be honest, I can't help myself, but I think it would be only fair if we go to this meeting, which I believe is the link here, and I think I'll have to log in, which is a pain in the bum, but let's do it anyway. Now, what am I going to do here? I'm going to have to do this. 1 minute, please, caller. So this does not make sense to me. Let's see if I've got. So let me log into my Zoom account. Use yours. I'm going to continue. And then I use my finger. And I think this is the right Zoom account. Could be wrong, but I think it's the Zoom account that I thought it was. And here I am in the Zoom meeting, and I will go in there. I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
This meeting is being recorded.
Right. So I think this is the support meeting for it. So I can probably figure that out. No, I can't. But I'm assuming that this is the Zoom meeting link that I was in here. Now, there's no name of this Zoom meeting. However, I'm going to do something a bit tricky. I'm going to actually go through my notes, and I'm going to, I know how to find it. Won't be a second there, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Zoom meeting link in my correspondence with my informant, and we will find that, and we'll go to the exact Zoom meeting link. And I could probably even show you the actual link to this originally. Let's see if I can find it. I might actually bring this up because I think it's of interest to see. I couldn't read it. It was all in a different language, so I needed to translate it into English. But let's see if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Right. And I will screenshot this and put it on the screen. So this is so you can understand what we got. So this was the initial email that we got, right? And here it talks about a link that you can go to. And then when you go to that link, you were going to get information about Play Global. And I don't even think I've got the same link. So let's go back here. So this is great. Okay, so we're not going to go in there as we will go in there as Christian this time. I just want to see what comes up. Right, so it's gone back again. So this is a link, and this is how crazy it is. So this link here was the link yesterday when I went in here. This come up as was it I always forget the name, not like me. MH Trading Bot support. So here's your MH Trading Bot support. That would mean, now this is 09. I'm just going to go back to the 09, and this is a different link altogether. So let's get rid of that one, and I'll stay focused. So that was the email I originally received telling me that I could come in here and get support. I can't even read it. I'm curious, actually. I am curious to what that says in English, because I don't think I've actually had it translated. So let's take it to another level. 1 minute, please, caller. Now I've got a bit more time up my sleeve. Right. Right. Okay. So let's go to ChatGPT and just ask it to translate that. Please translate to English. Please translate to English. Okay. So here we go. Right. And let's have a read and see what this letter was originally about.
Here's the English translation. The past few months have been marked by hard work behind the scenes, intensive investigations, and strategic planning. I know that many of you have been waiting for answers, and today I can tell you that we have made decisive progress. Together with PLAYGLOBal, we have left no stone unturned over the past year in our efforts to bring the truth to light. Through their official contacts in India, particularly in the Jamshedpur region, we have achieved a breakthrough that casts the entire situation in a completely new light. I would now like to finally put all the cards on the table. However, because the details, the chronology of the fraud, and the official documents are extremely sensitive, I will share this information exclusively with you in person. There I will show you what we have already achieved, the current status of the proceedings, and why we now once again have a clear perspective. Be sure to join us. It's time for complete transparency. Monday, 29th of June, 2026, 7 p.m. Zoom link /UX06J812536.
Yeah, well,
Skip to content.
PWDR2 Artshell Eliwox SVJP UXZRBZ09. I look forward to seeing all of you there and presenting the facts to you in black and white. A small note, the phrase Die Chronologie des Betrugs literally translates as the chronology of the fraud. In English, this wording strongly implies that fraud has already been established as fact. A more neutral translation would be the chronology of the alleged fraud if the matter has not yet been legally determined.
Right. So, to be honest, I never actually got that translated into English for me to read. But here, the contradictions are just overwhelming because it says it's going to give people full transparency. And it's basically saying no stone unturned, official contacts in India, achieved breakthroughs, and then it says fraud. Official documents are extremely sensitive. I will share this information exclusively with you in person. So he's going to share these official documents. Show you what we've achieved. The current status of proceedings would insinuate that there's some legal process underway. There should be some court documents filed. There should be some, like we've just gone through this massive investigation with Goliath Ventures. And I don't know if you noticed before, but Goliath Ventures, for example, this was a company. This is what the receivers have set up now. Goliath Ventures is a different company, but all the dockets, all the filings of everything that's happened throughout the whole case is documented here. And you can click on one of those there and you can get a document that shows you, what people are doing and what status it is, the bankruptcy court and the recovery process, the whole 9 yards. So that's what a proper recovery investigation happens like. You don't get to go into a Zoom meeting and wait for somebody to turn up. And even if I did, as I did, I went into this Zoom meeting that was called PLAYGLOBal, and they're now telling me that they're not associated with this other company. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense. To the credit, the communication hasn't stopped. Mr. Roy also confirmed his identity through his established LinkedIn profile and explained how he became involved after being approached by Daniel, who asked him to assign MHT victims in India. Assist. So this lawyer's claiming that he's assisting victims in India. Okay. I want to know, why did this happen in the first place? Why did somebody market a company like it was their own and then some Indian developer have total control of a company that these people were encouraging you to invest in? If that was the case, how do you know that this new company, well, not new company, how this well-established company for 16 years, how do we know that their systems aren't set up in concrete? and the same thing's not going to happen again. Those responses answer some questions. They did not, however, answer all of them. Despite ongoing correspondence, I'm still waiting for documentation that would allow me to independently verify several significant public claims relating to legal proceedings in India. As many journalists should, I remain open to reviewing that evidence and if when it's produced. I also made it clear that if factual inaccuracies are identified in this investigation, or if additional documentary evidence becomes available, I will review it objectively and update this article when appropriate. A good investigative journalist should never be about winning an argument. It should be about following the evidence, correcting the records when necessary, and assuring readers have the fullest picture possible before making up their own minds. All right, so the questions that still deserve the answers. After reviewing the correspondence, the website, the promotional material, and explanations I have received, I believe there's still several important questions that deserve clear and independently verifiable answers. They're not gotcha questions. They are the same questions I would ask any organisation providing investment opportunities, digital assets, or recovery initiatives involving people who have already suffered initial losses. For example, I would still like to know, where is PLAYGLOBAL Super Asset Fund legally established? Not rocket science. Is the fund regulated? And if so, which authority? What now MiCA
compliant
white paper have white paper been prepared for the digital token ecosystem there where required? What legal rights do holders of a master token actually receive? So what legal rights are you going to get when you hold one of these master tokens? Now, I don't know about you. If you follow how tokens work, they normally sell a few of the tokens to themselves, and then they seem to put a price on the sales. Now, there was a company called Super One. And I think he's gone bankrupt now. Super One. And what they basically do is they hold market share of the tokens, and they buy the tokens to sort of get some sort of digital wealth to them. And then they can basically sell all those tokens when everyone thinks the perceived value of a token gets to a certain point, and then everyone's left holding the bag. These tokens look like they've had some of them already. I don't know how it works, but somebody was explaining it to me. They basically said these tokens, actually, it's best if I don't say if I don't know. How are these underlying assets independently valued? Who values these tokens and the worth and the price that they come to? Who audits the assets and the fund? Like, CERDIC, let us know. Which publicly verifiable court proceedings exist in India? Still would like to know the answer to that question. Can the FIR police complaint and court reference numbers be disclosed, please? What official documents support the public updates being shared to investors? We want public. We don't, if we are suspicious that you guys may be running a scam, then we don't want to listen to anything that you have to say. We want independently verified information. These questions should not be viewed as hostile. They are standard questions. As investors, if you want to use my money and you want me to invest in your company, then I'm allowed to answer these questions. Transparency builds confidence. If documentary evidence exists to support the public claims being made, producing the evidence would strengthen the confidence among existing supporters and provide reassurance to anyone considering becoming involved in the future. This is your chance to actually build credibility. Equally, if some information cannot yet be disclosed because of ongoing legal proceedings, that can also be explained. Most reasonable people understand that certain matters remain confidential while investigations are active. What is more difficult to understand is asking people to place their trust in ambitious, I can't even say it, ambitious claims without providing the documentary evidence that should allow these claims to be independently verified. That remains a central issue at the heart of this investigation. Look, everything that you've declined is all about the investigation. All the other documents about Play Global can be provided because they're not to do with the recovery process. You can't tell me that you're telling people that you've got this tokenized token that's about to be released or is released, whatever it is. It's just ridiculous. Now, this is the biggest part of the investigation, which I'm proud of. We've actually had an independent person other than me do research on this company. Independent analysis by the Avenger Anti-Fraud Alliance. While preparing this investigation, one of the members of the Avengers Anti-Fraud Alliance, AAA, independently blockchain investigator Crypto G, carried out his own preliminary investigation into PLAYGLOBAL Digital. Rather than relying solely on the Zoom presentation or marketing material, his report examined the public corporate information, the technical infrastructure, MiCA regulatory requirements, historical links to MHT Trading Bot, and the transparency of the proposed token offering. Now, this is really important before you rush out there and buy some of these tokens. His assessment identified a number of significant due diligence concerns, including the apparent absence. I'm just going to read all these, but you've got to listen to them because these are important if you're going to be an investor.
The apparent absence of a publicly available MiCA-compliant white paper, no independently verifiable token contract, tokenomics, or published smart contract address, no publicly identifiable independent audit of the token or platform, no evidence located of MiCA authorization, or a notified white paper on the public CSSF or ESMA registers. At the time of his research, marketing material containing large investment claims that, in his opinion, are not accompanied by sufficient publicly verifiable evidence. The involvement of individuals previously associated with the MHT Trading Bot community in promoting the new opportunity, creating what he describes as a potential re-victimization risk for former investors.
Exactly right. Importantly, the report makes clear that these findings represent preliminary assessment based on publicly available information. We don't know everything. We're at the top of the cliff. We don't want to be at the bottom of the cliff. It's just all very well 2 years later looking back at what actually happened, but we're actually side by side with these people as they try and promote these opportunities. Not finding of criminal wrongdoing. Public available information, not finding of criminal wrongdoing, also encourages regulators and investors to independently verify the matters raised before making any financial decision. Although my own investigation has followed a different path, I found it interesting that many of the questions raised independently by Crypto G closely mirrors the same issue I'm asked during the Play Global Zoom meeting. Both investigations ultimately arrive in similar conclusion. Extraordinary claims require independently verifiable evidence. If you would like to examine the report in full, you can download it below and review the underlying research for yourself. So here we go, guys. This is amazing. So this is one of the best ever seen. So this is the AAA, Avenger Anti-Fraud Alliance, which I absolutely love. And this is what we're doing. This is where we're going with the Avengers. So the Avenger Anti-Fraud Alliance is actually an organization that we are setting up at the moment. We have amazing individuals that help us do these amazing independent verifications. So this PDF is downloadable and also viewable via my website. And it goes through and looks through every aspect, the same sort of stuff. This is his own independent investigation. I was actually going to produce another blog. It talks about play.global. So play.digital, if you didn't know, is another domain name. So when you go to, we'll leave that open. or go to here. If you went to PLAYGLOBAL.digital, you're going to get a one-page WordPress website, which takes 10 years to load, from a state-of-the-art technology company. And you've got a button here that you can just see here saying start here, and you can read all about what that has to offer. And that's it. That's all you get. You're not allowed anything else, except a disclaimer, which we've put into ChatGPT to help with this investigation. So that's what we've got so far. All right, so we've done that technical footprint. He came up with the same thing I did. What are you actually being sold? And this is really important. So he's into more stuff than I am to do. So I'm just going to actually see if we can actually get this part read, because I think it would be really helping people.
Stripping away the marketing language, the PLAYGLOBAL Digital proposition is a private pre-sale of a crypto token, gated behind exclusivity and coupled to unverifiable promises of asset-backed yield. A fixed 11 million master tokens sold by private/pre-sale invitation. A master token marketed as a key to a new era granting automatic participation in all current and future PLAYGLOBAL projects. Plus sub-tokens, the key, a digital app/control center for holders. Access to a super asset fund described inconsistently as $100 billion and, elsewhere in the same conversation, $100 million, said to be a structured fund in Bahrain connected to Saudi Qatari sovereign wealth funds, with a stated minimum entry of $10 million for the big side. Headline promises stability, exponential value growth, and wealth secured for generations. The register of a high-yield investment pitch, not a documented product. Crucially, every material verification question returned no answer. No audit. A direct request for a CertiX-style audit was declined. No figure for capital raised. No named, checkable partner or client. No on-chain contract to inspect. The one consistent response was a request to wait and to trust the team. The defining posture of an unsubstantiated offering.
Oh my God. So I'm so glad I'm doing this review, but thank you so much, Crypto G, for giving us this report. Red flags and transparency concerned. You can read them here. You can download this yourself. I'm seriously saying, guys, if you want to invest in this company, you need to read these reports and you need to ask these questions. Not having this compliance is major. What the registrations show, and then we're going to, the bottom line, and this is in red, so this will help you.
Regulatory bottom line. The team publicly claims to be official and properly regulated while, on their own account, still establishing companies for the regulations and treating Europe as the last step. Claiming or implying regulatory status one does not hold is precisely the conduct the CSSF warns the public about, and would compound the MOCA authorization gap.
Yeah, trust me, bro. That's just ridiculous. It's just, where do you get on? So we've got what MH Trading was. Now this is really interesting because, I can't just bypass this. I have to read it because there was no trading bot as they claimed. So you've got a company out there that's claiming they've got a trading bot. They collect all this money, right? They collect all this money and then all of a sudden they get hacked by some Indian guy that had full access to their website. And potentially they claimed that he has some sort of ownership out of their control. And he just took what he could and left everyone with their pants down. But in the meantime, now they're focusing on recovering the money from the Indian scammer, rather than anyone looking at the existing website and what it was making false claims about. You just can't get any better than this. So this is what Crypto G has said. He's done a full-on research about this company for an investor in the past. And this was part of his research previously done before they collapsed.
MHT Trade.io marketed itself as an automated high-frequency AI arbitrage platform, promising monthly returns up to 30% via a licensed trading bot on BNB Smart Chain. On-chain analysis conducted by this author in April 2025 found the economics and fund handling inconsistent with a genuine trading business. The website was flagged by Norton as a financial scam. Original example trade evidence was later removed from the site. The contract wallet purportedly holding staked USDT held only $15. Staked funds were not retained in contract but split 97%/3% to corporate wallets outside it. Those corporate wallets recycled USDT back to the staking/withdrawal contract and to liquidity providers. Fund recycling, not secured capital storage. $61,000 in USDT MHT was moved out on the 8th of April, 2025, amongst many such flows.
Yeah, so the whole company was a sham originally. And now we're trying to recover the money from the stolen money from a sham.
The big player liquidity wallet held $1 million but was not locked/secured. Per transaction bot profits, $0.02, were far too small to fund the promised ROI. The structural signature of a Ponzi model paying earlier users from newer deposits. In August 2025, the scheme rug pulled. MHT liquidity was pulled from PancakeSwap, and the freed USDT swept out to a consolidation wallet, collapsing the token. Contemporaneous messages in the MHT Deep Dive group document the LP removal, the destination wallet, and the price collapse.
Wow, wow, wow. So here we are trying to get people's money back from a recycling of people's funds. There was no trading going on. That's what that actually means. So basically they were claiming they were a MHT, have I saying that right? MHT? MHT Trading Bot was not doing any trading. You know, and if you go to the website today, it's they claim that the Indian guy is now, look at this. Yeah, this is what the website that they were using. It's just absolutely batshit crazy. So it marketed itself, the reading material itself, as an automated high-frequency AI arbitrage. How many arbitrage, Boomerang comes to mind. Look, I'm just going to read some of this because it's so good. It's good for me to hear it because it gives me faith that my research is also good.
The link between MHT and PLAYGLOBAL is not thematic. It is a specific individual. In the MHT case file, a promoter recorded on-chain, and in contemporaneous WhatsApp evidence as the German guy/Christian was identified as the sponsor who seeded new recruits' initial MHT holdings and brought investors, for example, Lucas N. and Michelle, into the scheme. On the PLAYGLOBAL promotional call, the same person, Christian Burrig, self-identifies, openly confirms his MHT involvement, and states that MHT investors lost money that he now intends to recover. In his own account on the call, Christian confirms he promoted MHT and that people invested and lost. B attributes the loss to the Indian founder/technical team. A nickname Sono Sahar is used, cheating rather than a hack, and C says PLAYGLOBAL helped him pursue recovery in India through lawyers, with recovered assets, gold, cars, property, frozen accounts, to be returned to the MHT community.
Yes, I mentioned to you about Goliath Ventures' $400 million Ponzi scheme. 12 sports cars, 7 houses, 18 Rolex watches, 2 apartments in Dubai, and family have got cars, the whole 9 yards. How much money do you think they're going to get back from $400 million? Well, for my calculations, I'd be lucky if they got maybe $30 or $50 million back, not 400. So when I spoke to him on the in the Zoom meeting, I asked him, is he trying to recover all the money that and he said yes. So this is Christian and this is Daniel in India with the big head lawyer. It looks like he's got a big head, doesn't it? Theoretically claiming that they're doing legal proceedings against the guy that stole money from something that wasn't doing what it claimed. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And this company here, this building that we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, this is where this big, massive company theoretically is from. What have we got up there? I'm just looking at some of the names on the windows. So this is where the corporate offices are for a company that's claiming that it can raise $100 billion. Yippee-yay-yay. Good on you. Excellent. Right, so let's go through to the most red flags. The most serious red flags of Crypto G's report is...
Why this is the most serious red flag. The promoter of a collapsed scheme is simultaneously I. running a recovery operation aimed at that scheme's victims, and 2. selling those same people a new token pre-sale. On the call, he describes using PLAYGLOBAL to give money on the side to the community, turning victims into what he calls the invest bag. Recovery narratives laid onto a fresh solicitation are a recognized advance fee/re-victimization pattern. The audience is pre-qualified. They have already shown willingness to invest and are motivated by loss, emotionally primed, and steered toward a new, equally unverifiable product.
That is amazing. And that's exactly what goes on with all these scams that we go after. Independent collaboration, investor context. What have we got here about the lawyers? Also legal threats, privacy complaints directed to investigators. Independent collaboration. This is actually really important. We have to read it. Let's have a look. It's even got my name in it.
This assessment is consistent with independent reporting. On the 3rd of July, 2026, investigative journalist Danny DeHeck published an investigation into PLAYGLOBAL. Marco exposed after being invited into an MHT recoveries room. His reporting independently links PLAYGLOBal Digital /PLAYGLOBAL SA to the MHT recovery narrative and names the same cluster of individuals connected to the offering, including Christian Burrig, Daniel Baumgartner and Manuel Neuwirth, alongside further names surfaced in that inquiry, for example, Sergej Haberlas, Sandeep Roy. His account also records legal threats and privacy complaints directed at investigators. The same defensive posture observed on the call, the recorded promotional call, transcript on file, is itself primary evidence for the findings above. The invitation only 11 million master token pre-sale, the refusal to provide an audit, a capital raised figure, or a single checkable partner, the two companies' deflection, the WordPress scientist footprint, the AI appearing team imagery, the open admission of MHT involvement, and the recovery into new offering, pivot.
Yes, the conclusion, transparency, regulatory status, historical lineage, overall assessment, it's all here in this brilliant report. It's so grateful that Crypto G provided that to us. We will continue to monitor. The more important part of the appendage here is we've got Zach XBT, the biggest blockchain investigator on the planet. He's got 1 million subscribers on his X account. We actually helped intercept $91 million that was being transferred from BG Wealth Sharing. He managed to actually freeze $41.5 million on the blockchain. He was searching for website addresses associated to BG Wealth Sharing at the time, and he managed to find our correspondence, and he gave credit to us for our work at exposing these companies on the outset. So here's the crypto wallet addresses that Crypto G has examined in the past, and they're here for anyone who's clever with this, who's got the real cool software that we all wish we could afford to buy that the governments use, and this may actually help a government investigation. So if you've got that lawyer involved and you're going after the Indian guy that you claim's done naughty stuff, then you probably want to make sure you have all these crypto wallet addresses available, which are absolutely amazing. The rug marker, pancake swap, removal, there it is. That's the trigger, that's the code, that's the footprint. The blockchain doesn't lie. So the sources of information, where Crypto G got it from, and of course I will read his disclaimer on this information so you know his opinion.
Disclaimer. This report is provided for public interest, educational and consumer protection purposes on a best effort basis. It does not constitute financial, investment or legal advice, and its author is not a lawyer or financial advisor. Findings described as assessments, concerns or red flags are the author's reasoned analysis of the cited evidence, and are not assertions of proven criminal conduct by any named individual or entity. Named persons and companies are entitled to respond, and readers should verify regulatory status directly with the CSSF and ESMA and conduct their own due diligence before making any decision. The author and associated parties disclaim liability for losses arising from use of this information.
Wow. Hey, I've just finished the poll, and we had 15 votes, 100%. What should Play Global send me next? And we've got 100% of people out of 15 votes said the evidence. The other questions were another email, a court filing, more lawyers. So 15 people voted. Thank you very much for that. So where the investigation goes from here, what do we do next? This investigation is far from over. Since joining what I believe would be an MHT Trading Bot recovery meeting, the story, and that was right there, this one here, this is the recovery meeting, and look at the name at the top. They changed it yesterday, now they've changed it back using the same ID meeting, which is actually interesting. And I think what I do want to do is I will add that link in later so people can go to that same Zoom meeting link and ask the questions, because obviously it was promoted. It's taken several unexpected turns. What began with an invitation from an investor has since led to a Zoom meeting, legal correspondence, private complaints, direct conversations with Play Global's representatives, and ongoing communication with a lawyer in India. Along the way, some questions may have been answered, others remained outstanding. I will continue following the story wherever the evidence leads. If Play Global, its representatives, or their legal team provide verifiable documentation supporting the claims discussed throughout this article, I will examine the material objectively and publish any updates that are warranted. I'm not going to do opinions. I'm going to do any documents where they prove what they say. White papers. We want white papers. We don't want trust me, bro. Likewise, if new corporate records, regulatory filing, court documents, or other evidence becomes available, they will form part of this continued investigation. My position has not changed. I will not oppress. I will not oppress to innovation, or whatever that says. I'm going to read that again. I think I got it right.
I am not opposed to innovation.
I'm not opposed to innovation, blockchain technology, or legitimate investment opportunities. It's not about that. Nor do I publish allegations simply because they generate attention. People say I'm doing it for clickbait and I do this for a living. I've even heard people say in Zoom meetings that I'm doing this for clickbaits. When I investigated Goliath Ventures, they sent me an offer of $150,000 to take my videos down and not do my reporting. Later on, they staked out my neighborhood. They found out where I lived. They had people knock on my door to offer me a better deal. I said, I'm only going to take the deal. I'm not going to take the deal. I'm only going to listen to the deal if I can record it on camera or record it. They wouldn't allow me to do so. I told them to get off my property. So these guys, if they think that I'm doing this for clickbait or this is what I do for work and I make money, I'm probably going to make $3 to $15 from this video if I'm lucky. I don't do it for that way. I do it because I was brought up in a religious cult, and the people that were I had 2 people in my life die by suicide because they couldn't live up to the expectations that the religion put on them. Now, these people that tell people they're offering financial freedom, you offer financial freedom to people if they invest, and if for some reason some Indian programmer allegedly cripples your company and steals all your money and takes off with it, and then you sit there and go, we're going to get your money back. These people, it is soul destroying. It's horrible watching and listening to these phone calls of people who thought they had a sound investment opportunity on the blockchain, for God's sake, and they lose the lot. I do it because those people need somebody to speak up. I need to ask the hard questions. If you can't answer my bloody questions, then get off the internet. People who have also lost their money deserve transparency, not uncertainty. Prospective investors deserve independent, verifiable information because committing their hard-earned savings, because they are committing their hard-earned savings, and organisations making significant public claims should expect those claims to be examined carefully. You can't go out there and say you're going to do this and do that without any paperwork. If you're involved with MHT Trading Bot, Play Global, or have any information to assist this investigation, I'd be pleased to hear from you. You can go to my contact page on my website, dehek.com, DEHEK.com. Go to my contact page. You can submit information anonymously or put your email address in there instead of using anonymous at Gmail, and I will correspond with you directly. Every document, email, presentation, company record, and first-hand account helps us get a clearer picture. Let's just pretend that this company is running a scam or a pump and dump token opportunity, right? And we need to, listen to the correspondence, read the emails, and see what they actually offer. We don't want you guys to be participating in something like that. As always, I encourage readers to do their own research, ask difficult questions, which aren't that difficult if you're running a legitimate company, and never rely solely on marketing material when making financial decisions. The facts should always speak louder than the promises. So where does the evidence lead? When I first opened the email from MHT Trading Investor, I had no intention of investigating Play Global. I simply accepted an invitation to what I believe would be an update for victims hoping to recover their money. The good news story. The single Zoom meeting led me down the path I could never have led me down the path I never could have anticipated. Since then, I have reviewed corporate material, examined the Play Global website, verified the identity of the Indian lawyer, analysed domain registrations, I should say, scrutinised public statements, engaged numerous emails with those involved, and continue requesting documentary evidence to support the claims being made. Throughout this process, I have tried to remain fair, objective, and evidence-driven. Where the claims could be verified, I have said so. Where the questions remain unanswered, I have said that too. It is important to emphasise that the article is not an accusation that Global Play or MHT Trading Bot is not an accusation that. Hold it, we're going to read this right. We're going to read these two paragraphs correctly.
It is important to emphasize that this article is not an accusation that PLAYGLOBAL is MHT Trading Bot. PLAYGLOBAL representatives have consistently denied any corporate connection, and I have reflected that position throughout this investigation.
Yeah, so through my conclusions, I cannot say that they are connected. However, the evidence...
Live, new, so, one notification, edit live.
Hold it. What I'm getting at is I cannot prove, and I have no evidence to say they're two organisations. However, the evidence that we have presented you today shows that they are connected in some form, whether that's corporate structure form or whether that's just buddies trying to help out another organisation. I don't know. I can't say, but you can draw your own conclusion. What I have documented is something different. I have documented the overlap of individuals, the public representations that have been made, the documentary evidence I have reviewed, the evidence I'm still wanting to receive, and the questions that I believe any reasonable persons would ask before placing trust or their money into any organisation making claims of this scale. Ultimately, the investigations is not about deciding who is right. It's about encouraging critical thinking, the congruent mind, as they call it. If an organisation is asking people to believe exclusive opportunities ambitious investment projects, and extraordinary future growth, then those claims should be capable of standing up to independent scrutiny. That is the purpose of this that is the purpose of investigative journalists. Why can't we ask the questions without getting threats? Why did I get asked to take down this article? I haven't edited this article at all since I received any correspondence. There was nothing new from their correspondence that I could add or distract from what I'm showing you here. Do not tell me what you think, but make sure you have enough verified information to decide for yourself. It's evidence. We need to work on evidence these days. So here's an update that I did publish in here after receiving my email at 3 o'clock in the morning. I added this paragraph, and let's read this.
Update. After this article was prepared, PLAYGLOBAL chairman Daniel Baumgartner sent a lengthy email requesting that the investigation be removed in its entirety. The correspondence expressed concerns about privacy, reputational harm and potential interference with recovery efforts. However, it did not provide the case references, court filings, phone numbers or other documentary evidence that I had repeatedly requested. Should such evidence be supplied, I will review it objectively and update this article where appropriate.
Right. So what I am doing now is adding a link to the Zoom meeting. Put that in the bold, and now we can actually all go to that Zoom meeting together, can't we? And we can all hunt out there. So let's just open that link in a new window, save that project, update that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out of this, exit, and hopefully log out of my sign out profile and sign in, join meeting. Alrighty. So what I've done just in that few seconds there, do laugh. So now we can actually come back to the start of the blog. And what we will do is I think we'll go to there 100%. Right. So now we've got the finished blog, the finished investigation. So here we are. We've got these individuals in here. And we've got two videos. The video I'm recording here, and I'll render this video, cut out the bits where I had to go away. You can watch the initial video here, which they've complained about once again, but this is the one that you want to watch straight away.
The PLAYGLOBAL,
It's
not
absolutely
MHT.
batshit crazy what they were doing. And obviously I asked the critical questions. I was literally investigating that on the fly. You can listen to the song and sing along if you like, but you can now see that we've got the previous article that we did about MHT. And you can see this is when, before I used AI. But the reason I did this investigation was because another colleague of mine had also done an investigation about it. So what I've done to this blog, I've actually, as I will do with this one, an update what happened after. And I've actually added a paragraph into the existing blog I did way back in, I think it was, when did I do this? How much invested. So this was interesting. This was I think I must have posted this official statement. Let's have a listen to this.
Update. New official statement circulating among MHT investors. Since publishing this investigation, I've been contacted by an investor from Germany who reports losing €3,000 in MHT trade. According to the information provided, payouts became smaller and increasingly irregular before eventually stopping altogether. Investors were initially told the website outage was due to technical issues. Later, explanations reportedly shifted to claims that a business partner had disappeared in India and that authorities were pursuing him. More recently, a document described as an official statement from PLAYGLOBAL SA has been circulating within MHT Telegram groups. The document claims that investigations in India are in an advanced stage, that legal teams are involved, and that international law enforcement agencies, including Interpol, may become involved. However, the document does not appear to provide any police case numbers, court filings, names of investigating officers, or other independently verifiable evidence that would allow investors to confirm these claims. If you were involved with MHT Trade, I would be interested in hearing your experience. Please consider sharing how much you invested when you invested, who introduced you to the opportunity, whether you were able to withdraw any funds, any wallet addresses used for deposits, communications from company representatives or promoters, screenshots, presentations, Telegram messages, or other evidence. You can contact me privately if you prefer to remain anonymous. The more information investors share, the easier it becomes to establish what really happened and whether others are being given the same explanations. If you've been affected by MHT Trade,
Get the idea. Look, when you search for MHT Trading Bot, you can see my LinkedIn comes up, my article comes up. We and this was where we May the 1st, I think. Wonder who actually had the article out first. May. So this was a year ago, isn't it? So what's the month now? Is it May now? Is it? What are we up to? July? No, miles away. So May the 1st, and my article was originally published on March. So March. I published 2 months before. Oh, that's unusual. He's normally on the game. So this was the company that they claim. So I actually published my stuff first. And that was about the company. And he, Oz only promotes, does articles on multi-level marketing. And another interesting fun fact, if you are using Zoom and you're promoting this company like they were, and you're promoting multi-level marketing, you may be surprised, or you may not be surprised, that it's against the user policies of Zoom. So if you come down to, and you don't believe us, you can go to Zoom Patrol. If you get anyone that's got any Zoom meetings, you can give them to us, and I'll go in there and cause a lot of havoc, as you can see. But down here, it says the acceptable user guidelines for using Zoom. It says you're not allowed to use Zoom for unauthorized multi-level marketing businesses. So if you've got authorization to use Zoom, please let us know. You're not allowed to use it for sexual services. You're not allowed to use it for drug control, human trafficking and smuggling, protected species. So all those are heinous things. And look at that. It's got multi-level marketing in there. So they shouldn't have been using Zoom to promote their business in the first place. But that's just a wee bit of a side issue, really. Look, I think I've done a good job on that. There's a couple of things I wouldn't mind doing afterwards, but let's just finish this meeting. Let's just say this is 3 hours and 29 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back. Do not invest in these companies until you do due diligence. Hopefully my team of Avengers, Crypto G, myself, other people in the chat room, Queen of Karma, Nev, and we did actually have a couple of others in there as well, KB, and Susie and Richard and all you people who are enjoying Independence Day, actually help us put these articles out there. If you can donate to the channel in any which way or form, please do follow the green orange link down the bottom. Support me on Ko-Fi /TheHeck and help keep the wolves away from the door. We don't get paid enough for the time and energy that we put into doing all this research. And I am trying to do this as a full-time job. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I believe that we have a sense of social responsibility to warn investors before they spend or take out their 401ks, the mortgage of their houses, max out their credit cards to invest in these too good to be true investment opportunities. I'm Danny the Heck, and we're the Avengers, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Story, a Zoom link dropped into my hands. Victims searching for tomorrow, promises they couldn't understand. They spoke of hope and justice, a future built on grand designs, super funds and token kingdoms, but I kept reading every line. Big claims need real proof. Big promises need the truth. Play global, show me the evidence, show me what's real. Don't answer with lawyers, just show me the deal. If every claim is honest, then nothing needs to hide. Truth never fears the questions. It stands up to the light. It stands up to the light. I check the registrations, the websites and the names. Read every public document, compared every single claim. An Indian lawyer proof? Where's the evidence to back the truth? Play global, show me the evidence, show me what's real. Don't answer with lawyers, just show me the deal. If every claim is honest, then nothing needs to hide. Truth never fears the questions. It stands up to the I don't follow rumors, I follow evidence. I don't chase opinions, I chase documents. Every promise, every company, every trail gets tested by the facts.